$574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate.
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to national average annual savings for home insurance
The
customers
beautiful
surveyed in
and
2023
irreplaceable
based on the
woods on the UNCA campus are under threat of development. These woods are home to countless wildlife and a vital part of our urban ecosystem. For generations, students, neighbors, and most importantly, the local animals have thrived in this precious forest. Save the UNCA Woods has organized to protect this urban forest from being destroyed. Join our efforts. When the woods are gone, they're gone forever. Take action. Visit saveUNCAwoods.org.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Compensation Services provides programs to help you find peace of mind. We're here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages and medical expenses. To learn more, visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4VICTIMS.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Ingalls studio,
WPEK Fairview,
WMXF Waynesville,
W225CJ Candler,
the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, FUN. That's fun. Enter it now.
Go to espnavl.com to play, and good luck.
Live from the Ingalls studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dogs eat! Let them on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, and we are seen everywhere on the YouTubes. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Coming to you live from the Ingalls studio and the NFLDraft.net Mullet Manor.
It's quieter around the manor since I got back. There's not people scurrying. It's just I feel like this is how Circuit City was for about the last year.
Right.
Just, what do we do now? I'm going to go have a nap. And that's what I've done over and over and over again.
Oh, by the way, Jeremy, you need to call Victoria and Adam over at the Adam Gold Show.
Yes.
You need to tell them that you do have your own draft cave. They were talking yesterday about the, I think it was the Quinn Ewers draft cave that had all the heads on the wall and stuff. And Victoria brought you up and said, I wonder if Jeremy has a draft cave. And you need to inform them about Mullet Manor.
I do. I don't just have a draft cave. I have a full manor that is just layered. We've got jerseys on the wall, a ghost of Draftmas past. It's a whole like dark Christopher Nolan Batman feel in here.
Yeah. The NFL draft season coming to a close today here on the program. It's
not coming to a close yet because I still have to do individual team dissections of your draft, which I will start recording today. They'll start going out on Thursday. And, then they're going to take a few days, get the old brain right. And then it's right back into the 2026 draft. Let's go.
Yep.
Arch Manning, countdown has begun. Arch, the Cam Ward's picture on the wall will be taken down today, and it will be replaced with one Arch Nathaniel Griffin, or not Griffin, Manning the third.
Yes, today we are focusing on the NFC team grades. We'll go through all the NFC teams just like we went through the AFC yesterday, so Carolina Panther fans, so stay tuned for that one. Can't wait to see what Jeremy has to say about my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He'll be making fun of us once again for taking 14 wide receivers.
I will be, but your grade's not as low because you did add talent.
It shouldn't be. That was a pretty talented class.
Yeah, it's not as
filling the
high.
needs.
It's not high probably as you want it. I will tell you, you are the first team that I can definitively say did not get the first full-on conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
Well, good. We
fell in love with these players, and we don't care about rankings. We take them where we want to take them.
Right. All right. We did not get a Gary Busey. We did not get an Alex Jones. I like that. You can stay tuned with us here and find out which teams did get the dreaded Gary Busey and Adam Jones grade. Or Adam Jones. I'm still recovering from the draft.
Yeah, Tank has done the exact opposite thing for me since he got back. I've done nothing but sleep since we got back here. Actually, that's a lie. I've done nothing but sleep and talk to NFL people. Johnny Mitchell called me last night. First of all, any of you that did not like him during our draft coverage, I don't care because I love that guy. I sat in this chair and talked to him for over an hour last night, and I walked away from that conversation going, is my life real? Like, is this really what I do for a living? Because it was the most surreal thing to just talk about life. Because we talked about football for 40 minutes of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we talked about life, and I walked away from it feeling 48 feet tall and bulletproof.
Nice.
This dude that's probably forgotten more football than I will ever know was that complimentary of me and just that nice of a guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the most rewarding part of this that we don't ever get to talk about is the interactions that we have behind closed doors with people that we meet and how just it never stops being cool.
Mm-hmm. It does not. And after spending just a little bit of time with us on our initial draft night coverage from Radio Row in Green Bay on the Ingles Living the Dream tour, Johnny just started taking Jeremy around the room like, this dude knows his stuff. You guys need to talk to this guy.
That was surreal too. And I'm not going to lie, I did not know how to react. They should be talking to you. Like, I should be doing this to you, not you to me.
Well, I mean, now this is not a shot at Johnny by any stretch of the imagination, but you have said routinely since I've known you, just because you played football doesn't mean you know football better than the average Joe.
Well,
again, that's not directed at Johnny. It's just because he's a former player doesn't mean. And there were several times during the coverage where Johnny would look over at you and go, damn, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about it that way. I'm telling you, man, your brain works different.
Well, it does work different because I was a fat kid that ran a 7.8 40, so I knew my path to sports was not going to be catching passes.
7.8.
The former players have an insight that I don't have, but I feel like I have an insight that they don't have. And when you team them together, you can get a really good idea of where things are. I mean, look, I spent probably 3 hours of my morning yesterday from the time I woke up at 7:15, answering text messages, making phone calls. Just, am I right on this? Or you tell me. All right, how did this go? And I'll see how it lines up with where my brain's at. That's what I do because I don't think I'm right about everything. I do when I say it because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you something that I don't believe. Now, if I have 10 people in the league that I really trust go, nah, dog, you missed that mark by quite a bit, then I'll start to revise what I think. But it's very cool to have that kind of sounding board around the league, to just talk to people. And you know, look, I know a lot of people think I'm just here to piss you off. I'm really not. I'm really not. I talk to a lot of the people that listen to this show. I had a whole interaction before the show of, hey, was this untoward to you? Because I need to know. Because I do want to bring the best draft coverage that I possibly can. I dig deep into these players. Deep. I knew some guys' dogs' names. I know some things about some parents in this draft class that I didn't necessarily ever want to know, but I do now. Those are now things that are in my brain.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like it does go better for us though if you can tick off a handful of people or fan bases.
Look, people get mad when we live in a world where people want to hear their opinion come out of your mouth. I'm sorry, that will never be me. It just won't be. And if that makes you mad, I'm sorry. I have very strong opinions. I have very strong convictions, and they don't just come out of my head. That's the best way I can explain it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Bill Belichick, who I think is just flying by the seat of his pants every single day with every single thing he does.
Yeah. Bob Brown in the YouTube comment says Mitchell walking around and barking out stuff during the draft coverage was great, and I agree. I agree. The only thing I would change about the coverage was I wish at some point I would have nudged him and said, "Hey, lean back and look at that camera," rather than making us stare at the back of your head.
The camera's not where you expect it to be, and
he didn't know. He had no clue.
and I honestly, I didn't know what to say. We got this legend. This was the Jets franchise player in 1996. I don't want to say, "Hey, Johnny, we're looking in your ear, buddy." Yeah. The camera's right there.
He was rolling so well, I didn't want to disrupt the train of thought or anything like that. So, I'll remember that for next time. We've got a couple of super chats to get here before so we can kick off the program today. If you want to weigh in on the program, obviously you can follow us on the YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and that's how you get into the chat. First super chat of the grade and give you exactly what Tank got in Indy, and that being the old double bird.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I said that. When you said in Indy, you mean he got drunk and almost hit by a bus?
No, I think he's talking about when I just rolled through that stoplight on the way back the other day.
I will say in our future endeavors in Indianapolis, I think that's where I need to sub in and drive. There's something about that city that does – you and automobiles in that city have just they have a very checkered past.
I'm destined to die in Indy.
You almost got squished
right
by
there.
one. Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, no
Luke,
doubt.
write me a song that says destined to die in Indy.
Oh, I'll write it and I'll sing it. I mean, look, I'm not as good as Luke Combs, but I'm serviceable to say the very least. When I die, bury me in Indy.
I don't think Soaring Eagle is accurate on that though. I mean, I can't imagine the Cowboys got a terrible grade from you. I thought they had a good draft.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember doing it. No, it's not bad.
No,
but I'm also very convinced that they tied Jerry up, put him in a closet, and told him they were taking him to Disneyland. Like they just moved the chair and he thought he was riding roller coasters. Because there's no way he was the one signing off on all those picks.
Right. All right, one more from Reds. Next year's draft class for Arizona. I don't know what you mean. So what? You're just focusing on
I think
the good that you did this year?
I believe he was being facetious. I'm not already digging into 2026 for the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what you're talking about. Being sarcastic.
Okay. All right. So that was sarcasm.
That was how I read it.
Throw a hashtag sarcasm on that so I can read it sarcastically. That's producer's note. There you go. I'll gladly do that.
We don't do those. It's more fun for us to watch you tap dance trying to figure out what somebody's trying to say.
It's not fun for me, though. It doesn't make sense. It makes more sense the way you read it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why is the room you're in so dark today?
So dark.
Like you look like you've been opining over a note that you crafted together with magazine clippings. You're demanding ransom for somebody I don't know you currently have.
Same lights there always are. I don't know.
It's way darker.
I can't tell you that. Can't tell you. I could open the blinds here if you'd like to.
I 100% do not want you to do that. As the guy that does camera things, sun is not friend.
All right. You ready to get into the A topic of the day?
Is Bill Belichick out of his mind?
No, he's not out of his mind.
I think he is.
No, he's not.
He went
shacked up with a 24-year-old smoke show.
Who he's now letting run his entire life.
That'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I mean, she's his publicist.
Uh-huh.
He did an interview with CBS News promoting his new book. And in the course of 8 minutes, he hammered the publisher for saying that the name was not what he would have chosen. Mm-hmm. He refused to talk about how they met. Like, dude, I don't think you understand how to promote yourself in any tangible way.
Well, I mean, he didn't refuse to say how they met. She stopped him from saying, right, like he asked the question, the interviewer asked the question, so everybody's invested in this relationship for whatever reason. It doesn't affect them, but they're still invested because she's 24 and you're 73 years old. How did you guys meet? And she shouts from off camera, we're not talking about that. And apparently the reason they left that into the final edited interview is because she interrupted so many times that they could not possibly tell the story of the interview without including at least one interruption from her.
See, this is why I could never be an interview journalist, because at some point I would have had to have said, I'm going to need you to shut up. I don't care about anything you have to say. This is 1 minute of this. I will say I have not seen the conspiracy theory of she is why Bill and Bob Kraft don't talk anymore, because it came off that relationship came from the same 900 number. I haven't seen that one before. That's a new one. Not giving it any validity, just wanted to say it out loud so you understood why I was laughing so hard. Because now that in my head, that's the story. I'll never report it that way.
Right.
That is how this went. That's a Hallmark movie if I've ever seen one.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Kraft meets a lady of the night. Bill Belichick falls in love with her.
So Jordan Hudson, if you're unfamiliar, is this young lady's name. And she, of course, is the one that we've been talking about with Bill Belichick. Remember, they went to the NFL honors thing during Super Bowl week, and he showed up with all the rings on his hand and this, this young little filly on his arm, and
she was wearing one of them.
Yeah, it's an odd relationship. We always, I feel like the public is always interested in the different, right? I mean,
because it's different.
Because it's, I mean, let's be honest for a second. It's gross. I mean, didn't you feel the same way like back in the day when Anna Nicole Smith was hooked up with that 90-year-old billionaire guy? Like, these relationships are weird to us, quote-unquote, normal people.
Oh, it's not weird to me. I only have one thing to say to Bill Belichick as a 38-year-old man living in America. God bless you, sir. Good for you.
But now it almost feels like she's making the decisions for Bill Belichick. It's almost like Bill Belichick is our former president and he needs to have somebody sign his documents for him.
Like, auto pen. She's the auto pen.
That's not It's not how I interpret this.
Bill Belichick, in the great Patriot fan listener of the show, said Bill and his girlfriend are living the dream. They're both getting exactly what they want out of this relationship. You're not wrong at all. Look, Bill's on the beach with her up on his feet doing the Titanic thing. I got news for you. I know a bunch of 60-year-old, 70-year-old dudes. They would kill 3 people they like with a claw hammer just to have one day of that. So I do not begrudge you that. What I don't understand is you decided to write a book. You knew all of these things were going to be asked, especially when you're on the Instaface, as he calls it, with all of these pictures. You had to know they were going to ask. The old crotchety old man thing does not work when you're selling a book. It works as a coach, because you're dealing with 53 guys. It doesn't work when you're trying to get 5 million people to buy your book. I also can't help but think, how dull do you think this book is? I know for a fact he avoided Bob Kraft, which would have been one of the top 3 things I wanted to hear about anyway. Mm-hmm. It sounds like he's avoiding all things salacious. This feels like it's going to be very X's and O's, and this is how I want, and I'm going to be snoring by page 12.
Absolutely. Does Bill Belichick have a personality?
I've always been told he does. Behind closed doors, he's not that guy. But then a camera turns on, and it's like a switch flips in his brain, and he cannot do anything else.
So what makes you think he's going to put that down on paper? Right? Like if he clams up in front of the media and just turns into droll old Bill, what makes you think when he writes it down on paper that there's going to be personality, that there's going to be juicy little nuggets in there that are going to be just gold? No, this is he said he wanted to call the book, what was it, My Life in Football or something like that?
It was My Life in Football, or Why I Win.
Or Why I Win, yeah. Which is not a bad title. That I feel like that could have been a decent title. But then the publishers chose The Art of Winning.
I wish he had just. What should the book have been called? Because I have a couple in the chamber, and my number one is How My Only Fan Turned Me On to OnlyFans.
I was thinking Coffees for Closers. My Life at 73.
Papo and Pookie, How My Life Got Awesome as soon as Bob Kraft fired me. No, she's not my granddaughter.
Robbing the Cradle. Bill Belichick wins again. His life is all about football and winning football. And it's all going to be just about his philosophies to, when you're down, this is what you need to do. He said during the interview that, he's not a halftime speech guy. Right? There's no Disney moment in his locker rooms, that it's all very X's and O's, and football is a life of, or what did he say? Football is a sport of problems, right? You identify a problem and you game plan a solution, and then you execute the solution to that problem. This is going to be 500 and some odd pages of thanks. Appreciate you, Bill.
I think the Podfather got this one right, but he left out a line. He said it should be called "Money Can Buy Happiness," the Bill Belichick story. I would just like to add one line: "Money can buy happiness. ... but it can't buy you a personality." The Bill Belichick story.
Right. So the question that I have now, as a Tar Heel fan, becomes what exactly are we doing here, and what exactly is Jordan's role within the organization?
This is because an SEC regulated show. I don't think we can talk about Jordan's role on the show.
Because she has no official job title, other than apparently he's referring to her as the what was it? The director of Belichick Productions. Whatever that means.
I can't say it on this show, but I see a heel turn coming here at some point, and I used that phrase for a very specific reason.
To the point where, like, she was negotiating the Hard Knocks deal?
Oh, yeah. She's been involved in everything. Everything.
He wants everybody who sends him an email about promotions with the football program to send them to her as well.
And
like, copy Jordan on all my stuff.
And she sends it back with a handwritten response with hearts above the eyes.
It's odd. Like, part of me is like, kudos to Bill for finding somebody who can be good at the social media stuff and then, turn that over to them, because that's a big part of the game now. I just don't know that I want that person to be my 24-year-old girlfriend.
I would just love to know. Like, this is one of those times that I wish the Hard Knocks thing had happened, because I would kill to know what's happening behind closed doors. I know a bunch of those guys in this administration with Carolina. I would love to know what they think about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they get a response from Jordan, and their eyes roll in their head so far that they can see their brain. Stop. You stick to social media things. That's fine. I have no aversion to that. When it comes to football, we football. You Pookie, we football. Okay? That's how this works.
Do you think Pookie's trying to do football, though?
I know she is. I've seen it. I've seen emails that have come out of that building where she responded, and it blows my mind. I've never been more curious, and we're going to be at the Carolina home opener. I am so locked in on how this is going to go that I don't care about anything else on that day. I care only about what happens on the field at Kenan Memorial Stadium, because I want to see what this team looks like. I want to see with this distraction, and I hate to tell you this, she is a distraction. I want to see if Bill's still Bill. I also want to see if in college Bill's still Bill. I like a lot of what they've done with the roster. It also makes me incredibly nervous that every super high-end player they had transferred out. Some of them after Bill had been around. They just lost an edge rusher to Ohio State. That's not good. That's a bad sign. Because you would think guys that committed to Mac Brown would be all in on playing for Bill Belichick. That would be my thought. Because Mac and Bill are different, but they're also eerily similar in ways.
Mm-hmm. But the question also becomes, is it really that much of a loss? This wasn't a great football team to begin with.
Well, I mean,
so whatever.
You lost the number 4 transfer in the spring portal. That's a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And you have nothing to replace him.
Mm-hmm. The circus comes to town.
Bo Atkinson, that's his name. Thank you, Rob Johnson. I couldn't think of his name. I had.
Oh, yeah.
I was going through so many names there.
Bo Atkinson is a pretty good player. But I mean, I don't feel like he was a game changer for this team. Maybe he can be for somebody else. But that's the thing. When the new coach, you don't know. You don't know what that relationship was like. You don't know if he does the things that Bill wants him to do.
You can't
minimize
losing good players.
No,
especially not by saying,
sucks.
well, they
Absolutely.
weren't good last year.
I get it.
This is a whole new ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
You lose good players, that's a bad sign. You lost a bunch of them, too.
I did not have this on my bingo card. When they said Bill Belichick's coming to take over North Carolina football, I did not have on my bingo card that we were going to have a girlfriend controversy with the head coach.
Bill was to reach for comment. Those that have a problem with his girlfriend having such a big role in his life.
Yeah.
And his response was, mind your business.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We'll be right back.
There's a lot to...
All right, we're clear.
In 2025, and for your Atlanta Braves, it's all about a fresh start.
1-2, he hits one.
Papal and Pookie.
Gonna head back to the wall.
Did you enjoy that one? I was a big fan of it.
A 2-run home run.
That was a good one.
And our Braves baseball all
the
season.
Funny thing
Fly
is,
ball
Pookie's
deep
what I
right
call
field, hanging high, carrying back to the chop house. Look out!
The mountain's home for the Braves. Asheville's #1 sports station, ESPN Asheville.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and
Chris
scroll
Womack
past stuff
won
all
this
day.
discussion.
But when we're driving, cooking,
He said the
and
title
working
should
out,
be
we're
Inflate
also
Gate.
listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears
Chris
while they're
Womack
living
made a
life
penis
and
bump joke
listening,
in
just
my
like you
Twitter
are right now.
inbox,
So
and
get
I
your
love
customers
that
to
so
listen
much.
up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Wilmer Valderrama and Freddie Rodriguez welcome another amigo to their podcast, Dos Amigos. Wilmer's friend and former That 70s Show castmate Topher Grace stops by the Speakeasy for a 2-part interview to discuss his career and reminisce about old times.
We were still in that place of like, what will this experience become? And you go, you're having the best time you're ever going to have.
Yeah. Matthew Hoffman said, give it a few years, you might be a papaw too. I'm on.
Listen to Dos Amigos on America's #1 podcast.
Not dating a
network,
24-year-old girl. I will hold on to my wife like Rose held on to that door that she wouldn't let Jack on the Titanic.
Sportsocracy fans crave.
But I could very well have grandchildren very soon.
And they've got the balls. Bears.
I have an almost
Bear
18-year-old
packed
daughter
with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried, and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. This is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
This is J.W. Whitley.
I figure
General
we'll just
Manager
slide
at
right
Parks
into
Ford of
outside
Hendersonville,
here.
introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes. Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster.
You just want to do outside, take a break, and then come back for the last segment?
Yes.
Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
At Ingalls, we know that fresh means local. The best ingredients don't come from a world away. They come from your own backyard, which is why we rise to the challenge of providing the freshest items you'll find anywhere. Getting our foods from the farms we support, to the stores we love, to the tables you treasure. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy. And it's time to get just a bit outside. Jeremy, yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles go to the White House, and they're honored for their Super Bowl win, as, you know, teams tend to do. During said visit, President Donald Trump made some comments about Saquon Barkley and the fact that he is no longer with the New York Giants. During which his comments illustrated that everybody should have known this. I'm not going to do the Trump impression because I'm not good at Trump impressions.
I can't do it because my voice is just killed.
Right. So Jeremy has been talking nonstop for several days and, you know, well, I guess like a month. And he can't do it either. But the president said, I was with the Giants and the head coach and some people, and I said, do anything you have to. Don't lose Saquon. But they lost Saquon. That was not good. I called that one. That was an easy one to call because he played damn well for the Giants. I can tell you that. Now, that would not, that's just a throwaway comment. We all knew that was going to happen because we all said it at the time. What the hell are you doing giving Daniel Jones the contract and not committing to the running back who's actually good at football? And then we see where that's gotten them now. But it was the spokesperson for the Giants, 64-year-old Pat Hanlon, who goes on Twitter and makes the statement that the team has had no conversations with Donald Trump about the roster. Okay, well, I mean, in an official capacity, sure. I'm pretty sure there was not a phone call between Joe Shane and Brian Daboll with the President of the United States consulting him on roster construction. However, do you not think that there would be a moment where Donald Trump's at a party or something in New York with, like, the owner of the Giants and is willing to give his opinion on their roster? I have no doubts that this happened at some point. Someone with the Giants was around Donald Trump, and he went, "You're an idiot." But Hanlon says there were no official discussions between the president and the team about the roster. And then he goes on to say that he wishes the president would just stop, quote, yapping and focus on improving the economy so that Mr. Hanlon's 401k doesn't suffer because he's about to retire.
Your 401k probably has suffered from the fact that the New York Giants haven't been able to beat themselves in the last 10 years.
Right. Like, you know, if you're about to retire, this is a pretty good way to expedite your retirement, in my opinion. I've found that since the beginning of all of this, going back 8 years, talking about politics in your job is not a good idea unless your job is to talk about politics. You tend to catch more flack that way. And I'm not sure if I'm the spokesperson for the Giants is the one that should be, throwing their opinion out there. Like John Mara can do that. He can throw out his opinion about Donald Trump or whatever as the owner of the team and not face any repercussions. But cause a big enough stink for your employer, and that's a good way to get fired.
I have to touch on this solely because it might be the best comment of the day. Came from Jack S. in our YouTube comments. He said, with Bill's background in scouting, do you think he got a hold of Jordan's high school tape and really got the beat on scouting her early?
Oh.
Good for you, Jack. Good for you. You said that can't be said on air. I'll bet you it can.
Bet you can.
As the EP of this show, I guarantee you it can. Because that's too good to not be said out loud. That is phenomenal.
You better have destroyed that computer, though, if he had high school tape.
I don't even know what my story was. That was fun because it got deleted, and I looked and I saw the responses. I went, "What was it?" And Matthew Hoffman said it in the Discord. Let's go. Teamwork makes the dream work. That was fantastic. My story is about somebody not having nearly as much fun right now as Bill Belichick. Quinn Ewers.
Uh-huh.
He may have started a trend that I have thought was coming for years. How much money do you think Quinn Ewers cost himself by getting into by entering this draft?
Oh, Lord.
He will make just north of $1 million this year as a 7th-round pick for the Miami Dolphins. That's if he makes the roster, by the way.
I would say it's probably at least in the $2 million range.
He had offers over $5 million to transfer, and he came out.
Mm-hmm.
I have a funny feeling that this will be the last time you see a high-end college quarterback with really, I'll say, sketchy NFL prospects. Look, Ewers could have had a good year. Everybody talks about this class next year. And look, there's a lot of talent in it, but I'm going to say the names, and you tell me the guy that you feel like is a no-doubter. Drew Aller. Nope. Last time I saw you made possibly the worst decision I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Arch Manning. He started 4 games total and couldn't beat Quinn Ewers last year. Lenora Sellers. I love your competitive spirit. I do not love your arm. I hope it improved over this year because I really want to love you. Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier is the hungry man dinner of the NFL draft. It will feed you, and you will not die, but you will not like it. Sam Levitt from Arizona State. You mean that guy that was propped up by Cam Scattaboo? I think not. Dante Moore, who's on his 3rd school in 4 years, and this is the first time he's going to get a chance to start. Well, that's not true. He started for a couple games at UCLA, and Chip Kelly went, nope. Not doing that anymore because that was not fun for any of us. Cade Klubnik. I don't think I even need to say it. You just know what I'm going to say. And finally, one Carson Bartholomew Beck III. Now, see, Carson Beck's living the exact opposite life of Bill Belichick. He had the super hot Instagram girlfriend, and then she got caught on a hot mic saying some things about him that I'm never going to unsee.
Really?
Ever.
I did not see this.
Let's say if how do I put this delicately enough for FCC radio? Let's say he makes really good use of the leading edge, shall we say?
Okay. I got you.
There are certain things in life you don't ever want out there to never be killed again. That's one of them. Also, he went full Bo Callahan, and nobody came to his birthday party.
Why would they? I mean, just to see her.
Oh, no.
That'd be the only reason.
Frankly, I can't stand Carson Beck, and I would have gone to his birthday party. Just to, how is this possible? If there is a just and loving God, this relationship will not last 5 more minutes because it is just driving me crazy that this happens.
Quinn Ewers lost out on $4 million?
At least this
by
year.
Not playing college football this year. And I think that is, again, I think this is one of the benefits of the NIL stuff, is that it's going to give guys like Quinn Ewers, if they're smart enough to see it, the ability to be more impactful longer in their careers, in their football careers. Because if there's a question that you're a junior and you're going to be coming out into the NFL draft and your stock drops for whatever reasons, like you're not good at the process or people have questions about, scouts have questions about your arm talent or whatever it may be, you can still be viable longer in college football.
Well,
it doesn't make any sense to me. Like it would be like Carson Beck if he tried to come out this year. Originally, that was reported as the plan, was that Carson Beck was going to leave Georgia and he was going to go into the NFL draft. And quickly someone picked up the phone when they read that and went, you should not do that at all because you won't be drafted, period. Possibly.
I can't say he would have been drafted.
You need
I can
one,
say it would have been very late. I will tell you, with Quinn Ewers, I didn't get to this part of it because I started going down the pun path. Apparently, I confused some people. I just don't know which pun I confused them on. Quinn did not handle this process well at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, with what I said about Shedeur Sanders yesterday, a lot of it applies to Quinn Ewers too. That he just didn't handle this well. Some of the things he told teams were very off-putting. I mean, look, and there were teams that were hot on him. None of them are the ones that drafted him. That should tell you a lot. I mean, look, I told you over and over again, the Saints and the Raiders both, they wanted to love Quinn Ewers, and they couldn't. Mm-hmm. And he boo-booed this process. So, I mean, I think he did some of the same things. He thought he was something that he wasn't. Now, the difference is I can tell you that the projection committee, the draft committee, they didn't tell Quinn Ewers, hey, you're going in the first round. They told him you're lucky if you're a 3. And he came out anyway. I don't know that these agents are going to be – I think you're going to get a lot more Carson Beck of, hey, they expected you to leave. Now you're going to have to find somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
Than you have of Quinn Ewers sitting in the Antelope Mansion waiting on somebody to call your name. Because that's a lot of money to lose. Especially for a guy that doesn't project to be an NFL franchise quarterback. And had Quinn gone somewhere, I heard Oregon a lot. But if he had gone somewhere with a good quarterback coach that could really have fixed his feet, there's no telling where he could have gone next year.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we all talk about this quarterback class like, oh, there's so many guys. There were that many guys last year, too. You know what? Most of them weren't great. Most of them gave us tape that we dissected and didn't love it. So Quinn could have come back. There's no telling. He could have been the second quarterback off the board next year. Wouldn't have shocked me in the least.
But instead, Here he is making, what'd you say, $600,000?
He'll make just north of $1 million this year.
Just north of $1 million.
If he makes the roster and is on the roster for all 18 weeks.
Right. Oh, I know why the $600,000 number was in my mind. I was just reading a story earlier today that the Toronto Argonauts now have filed for the rights to negotiate with Shedeur Sanders should he not make it in the NFL. So if he doesn't make the Cleveland Browns roster, then the Toronto Argonauts of the CFL, they're the ones that will be able to have the first negotiating rights. And the ceiling for what you could make in the CFL is $600,000. That's what that came from. And just the prospect that anybody is talking about that right now is quite hilarious to me. You're in the Sportsocracy. CSPN Asheville ran long on that first segment, so we got to get another break in here. We'll be right back.
ESPN Asheville.
We're clear.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Most of us, no rain this afternoon. Some pop-up showers, thunderstorms. So if you are moving around, you got a better chance of hitting something that pops up. Stay stationary, stay home in the backyard, enjoy the beautiful weather. Not much of a chance of rain. 80 degrees with sun and clouds. Tonight, some clouds, 55. Tomorrow, a little better chance of some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, 82. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue. But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. Aha! So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin. Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
The new iHeart app just looks better.
The best feature of a car radio on the app.
It's the presets.
Super easy.
And thank you for keeping it free.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeart Radio app today.
iHeart Radio.
I'm Coley Duffy.
I'm Cody.
Yes, sir.
And we're the Chainsaw Brothers.
Actually, we're cousins. A few days after Helene, we was in the driveway having a couple beers, waiting on the power to come back on. And we heard so many people calling, needing trees removed, and couldn't afford it.
So I called my dad to borrow a chainsaw, and over the next few months, we cleared trees for our neighbors. Our business was born out of wanting to help Western North Carolina get back on our feet.
We are fully insured and licensed. We keep our promises, meaning if we say we're going to be there, we'll be there. In these parts, we live how we were raised.
When you call the Chainsaw Brothers, you're not a customer, you're family. We're good at what we do, and we do it for a reasonable cost.
For all your chainsaw needs, call the Chainsaw Brothers. 828-316-1013. Or find us on Facebook. See how we treat our family.
Are you still covered up with storm damage and debris?
Call us about our daily rates at 828-316-1013. That's 828-316-1013. We're the Chainsaw Brothers, and with our neighbors, we are Western North Carolina strong.
Woohoo!
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the hardest hit areas in those first hours. Like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
We treat star athletes better because they're better people.
That's not fair.
Life isn't fair, kiddo. Get used to it.
We're back in the Sportsocracy. Follow us on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy. And George Kittle He's got a new deal. He's got a contract extension signed in the books with the San Francisco 49ers. He is now extended for another 4 years at $76.4 million. Pushing his per year value up to $19.1 million, making him the highest APY tight end in the NFL. In NFL history. Just ahead of Trey McBride. Now, at 31 years old, I'd see very little prospect that he's going to fulfill that entire contract.
I don't. I think he's just fine. I think he's the best.
Do you?
Kelvin Joyner said it in the YouTube chat. He's the best all-around tight end in the league. If he hadn't had so many injuries, that wouldn't even be debatable.
Sure. But it's because of the injuries that I don't expect this to happen.
Well, I mean, at 31, you always seem to undervalue guys' ability to play to a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
For me, a high-end elite player is 35. 35, and I don't care about injuries because you're going to keep trying to do it. And I'll be honest with you, 80% of George Kittle's better than other than Trey McBride and a couple others. That's the 80% of George Kittle's the fifth best tight end in the league. I'm good. And I think they'll keep doing it forever. He fits that system so well, especially with how often they throw that wham block, and he's the best maybe to ever do it.
Mm-hmm. I just don't know. That's going to be – I feel like that's going to be one of those contracts that we look at in a few years and go, damn, you're paying $18 million and he's broken.
Yeah, I don't fear that at all. I don't fear that in the least. I mean, now correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm gonna have to check my math on this.
Okay.
Kittle's actually been shockingly healthy over the last handful of years.
Well,
he's played through some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But last year,
he hasn't missed very many games.
In the last 4 years combined, he's missed a grand total of one of those was they sat him out. So 2, 2, 1, 2. He's missed 7 games in 4 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And at least one of those was not of his own choosing. They just didn't dress him for an end-of-year game because there was nothing to it.
Okay.
He's also gone over 1,000 yards 2 years in a row as a tight end.
He has.
Not a lot of guys can say that.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend included in that.
Mm-hmm. Kittle's great. He's a great player.
He's absolutely.
I don't know if I want to be paying him $19 million a year when he's 35.
He's also a tone setter for that team.
No doubt about it. He is glue guy for the San Francisco 49ers. But the question is, my question is, who's next?
Among tight ends?
Yeah, is this the high water mark, or we're just waiting for Sam Laporta?
Laporta will get a bag.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Brock
know.
Bowers.
Well, Brock's still.
I mean, it's a while. It's a while. But Brock will get $25 million.
You worry way too much about the money. I mean, $19 million for George Kittle's a drop in the bucket compared to what they're about to overpay Brock Purdy.
No doubt.
And from what I understand, it's real close.
Comparatively speaking, sure.
Now, Dallas Goedert, that's the one. Dallas Goedert's the one that's going to get it back. I think he's got 1 year left on his deal in Philadelphia, and they have zero intention of paying him. Oh, by the way, this would be a good time to point out all the Eagle fans that told me I had to throw a tight end into an Eagles mock draft. Do you see now why I didn't? I don't buy any player that we start talking about being traded around the draft. I don't buy it until I see it. I heard 40 different names. One got dealt, and it was Sam Howell.
Mm-hmm. So the San Francisco 49ers paying up for George Kittle, franchise player. He's now the face of that franchise. Him and Christian McCaffrey, right? He ain't got much left after Debo. Obviously, there's Brock Purdy, but
he's the franchise player. You do need. I mean, if you got three franchise players, it really helps if two of them are worth what you pay them. Yes. Sadly enough, San Francisco has a possibility that none of them are. If you're right, the injuries start kicking into Kittle, you'll have three franchise players that are all grossly overpaid.
Mm-hmm. Nick Bosa, I guess we got to throw his name in there as well. In the franchise player category.
Yeah, he's fine. He just doesn't have a whole lot of help.
Yeah.
And Michael Williams didn't really do it for me, which is why you're not going to hear San Francisco's name for quite some time in the next 2 hours because they're awful low on Mullet's draft grades list.
Yep. You're in a Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. It is time to get into the NFC draft grades when we come back from the break here after the top of the hour. NFC draft grades, A-pluses all the way down to the dreaded Gary Busey.
Oh, now we
apparently
Gary
there's
Busey
a new
on
one.
steroids. It's an Alex Jones.
Oh, wait, the Alex Jones is worse than the Gary Busey?
Yes.
Huh.
One of them's crazy and doesn't know he's crazy. The other one's crazy and kind of makes jokes about it. That'd be Gary. Gary knows.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. I'm a crazy person. The other one's insane, and he wants to make you insane too.
Find out which team in the NFC got the first ever Alex Jones grade in at ESPN Draft Nerds. Draft grades from the 2025 NFL Draft up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It was a fantastic Ingles Living the Dream Tour ! Season 1 in the books. And we couldn't have done it without Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Also, Clarissa sells WBNC.com and Bears Smokehouse Barbecue. We'll be right back after this.
ESPN Asheville. Your mountain weather forecast.
Most of us, no rain this afternoon. Some pop-up showers, thunderstorms.
All right, you're clear.
Are moving around, you got a better chance of hitting something.
Yeah, today, until the board is messing up massively, so do not speak to the chat until you hear me say clear.
Tomorrow, a little better chance on these scattered showers.
Okay.
82.
Because right there, I couldn't turn either of us off.
Sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
This is the story of the one. As a native specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke rates from caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. The first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
Welcome to Harvest Farms, where the best organic or natural products are waiting for you, where the fields are filled with flavorful delights, and every bite is backed with the highest quality and attention. This is a place of affordable organic adventure, where freshness reigns supreme, that can only be found at Ingles. Harvest Farms Organics. You'll love what's inside.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has two things that all Sportsocracy fans crave: bold flavors and big portions. Oh, yeah, and they've got the balls. Bear's famous bear balls are packed with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. This is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
Looking to buy or sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
From the Ingles Studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, green. That's green. Enter it now.
Go to espnavl.com to play, and good luck.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Take it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles Studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app, and we're seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that gets you into the chat with us each and every day. Get your thoughts in on the NFC draft grades, Flostradamus. We made it through another Draftmas season. And, you know, every year it seems like we break new ground. Right? This year we went, like last year we broke new ground because we actually went to the draft, covered it live on Radio Row up in Detroit. This year we broke new ground because, well, we had a four-man team for the first time at the NFL draft and made new friends and got to see old friends from last draft at the 2025 draft. But now we're breaking new ground because we have a new grade to unleash today.
The Alex Jones. They're putting hormones in the water, making the birds do weird stuff.
I was so worried how you were going to finish that. And I'm so happy that you finished it the way you did. Ranging from A+ all the way down to the Alex Jones grade, which is the Alex, as he explained before the top of the hour, the Alex Jones grade is the ones that are, well, they're crazy and they know it.
No. Gary Busey's
crazy
they don't
and
know
it.
Oh, Alex Jones is crazy and has no clue.
They're crazy
He
and
wants
they
to
don't
make
know
you his crazy because he thinks you're crazy for not being crazy the way he's crazy.
Okay.
He's a little crazy.
All right, well, start at the top with the A+.
I really battled with which team was going to get the highest NFC grade.
Okay.
And then I finally just said, you know what? It's not the sexiest of the bunch, but it's the only one that I don't have a but with. It's
Okay.
the Seattle Seahawks.
Really? Okay.
I told you no less than 10,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
If this team's smart, they'll just take Gray Zabel at 18.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to play a game with offensive linemen that is not fun to play if you don't. What they do, they took exactly who I told you they should. Well, they don't take guards in the first round. Well, they do now. And that's the best one by a mile. And he can play center, and he can play right tackle. Gray Zabel is a dog. And I know a lot of people didn't like that pick. It's okay. In every argument, somebody is wrong. And in that one, you are. I watched him dominate every defensive lineman at the Senior Bowl, rep after rep after rep after rep. And now here's the part that nobody talked about. There wasn't another guard that made any sense.
Mm-hmm.
The Dallas Cowboys took an inferior player 6 picks before this. The lineman got pushed up. And I feel like the brain trust in Seattle looked at Campbell went 4, we expected that. Banks at 9, Booker at 12. And they went, nope, they're not going to make it here. If we don't do it now, 2 picks in the second round is not going to do a squat because there's no telling how bad this is going to be hemorrhaged by then. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got to the second round. And I thought if Seattle didn't go Zabel, didn't take the lineman, I thought there was a possibility they'd take Nick Eamon-Warry at 18. Because he fits the DNA of what that team has been for 20 years. He's a gigantic safety that has all of the upside in the world to be elite. Where I gristled at the Cam Chancellor thing was he's not that right now. He has the upside to be that. He has the upside to be that mixed with Earl Thomas, which is out of this world good. 3rd pick in the second round, they got impatient, went, nope, we'll just go get him now. Didn't give up that much to get there. Kept your second round pick, which you used on Elijah Arroyo, who I absolutely love in this system. Because they've shown you don't have to be a great blocker to be great in this. It also gives you a move piece who is gigantic and really fast. This is just adding layer upon layer upon layer to your investment in Sam Darnold. Now, I'm going to say something that I don't believe a lot of people are going to believe is going to come out of my mouth. I really like the Jalen Milroe pick at the end of the 3rd round.
Wow. Okay. Why?
Because there's no pressure whatsoever on him to play any time in the next 3 years. He may never play at all outside of in certain packages to be a runner. I watched this organizational structure take Lamar Jackson to another level. I also heard something Milroe said I want to say it was at the draft itself, where he basically said, if you think I don't know I have flaws, you don't know me very well. Mm-hmm. And I heard that and went, that's self-awareness that I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of the fact Jalen Milroe, throughout this whole process, he's been super quiet. I was with him at the Combine. I was with him at the Senior Bowl. I never heard him speak. I talked to some of the coaches from the Senior Bowl. They said this kid was not very good this week, but he was an absolute sponge in what we were telling him. I think Jalen Milroe has the mental makeup to be an NFL quarterback, where I do not know if he has the arm makeup to be an NFL quarterback. But you can have the latter. If you don't have the former, you're doomed. If you have the former, the latter may come in time because you will just work so hard that you'll find a way to do it. And I love that he went to a place where it's quiet. Not quiet in terms of actual volume. In terms of media in Seattle, you're not going to hear beat writers or the fan base or any of those things talking about Jalen Milroe. You're not.
Until Sam has Sam.
Doesn't matter. Won't happen. Won't happen. Watched it with Geno Smith. They supported Geno Smith like if they didn't do it, they were all going to be shot in the town square. Seattle supports their guys in a way that very few fan bases do. It's one of the reasons I loved Sam going to Seattle, because he can have a couple bad games. Geno did. Geno had a mess of bad games, and they would still defend me to their dying breath. On how I was so wrong on Geno Smith, I wasn't. But they would defend him like it was their job. I love that that's where Jalen Milroe went, because they're not going to be clamoring for him to play. They know. That's a smart fan base. There are not a ton of those in this league. I saw you shake your head. I'm going to remind you that you did that. There will be no one clamoring for Jalen Milroe in the next 2 years. I promise you. I know too many people in that fan base.
Yeah.
Hell, several of them are in our YouTube chat right now. Feel free to tell Tank that what I'm saying is 100% accurate. I've watched it for too long. They defend Kenny Walker. They've defended a slew of guys that fall off a cliff because their guys are their guys. They trust the organization. And I love that that's where Milroe went. Riley Mills, I didn't love that pick, but you had so many credits in the account by that point that the fact you took a guy that's coming off an ACL, that's about where I had him before he got hurt. You took him there after he got hurt. But then you went Torrey Horton, Bryce Cabeldew, Ricky White III. I loved all those picks in the third day. And Mason Richmond became my favorite player in NFL history because he made me blow a blood vessel out in my head.
Yep.
A+. It's as good as it gets. Seattle Seahawks were the NFC winner of the week.
Yep. All right, we got a super chat that we need to hear from Red. He liked a Jalen Milroe pick. He says, farmers, strap down your pigs. They're going to take off flying pretty soon. I did not see that coming either.
I don't think a lot of people saw it coming. The more I thought about it, the more I liked it.
Okay.
For exactly what I said.
Hey, Divine Comedy says you're 100% right, that they will stick behind Sam Darnold and they will not call for Jalen Milroe. I have learned over our years of doing this, and Divine's he's pretty clued in to his fan base. So
Divine, John Carmen, and John Welch are Seattle Seahawk witches, and everything they say I take to heart because they know that fan base so well.
Right.
Also, another good thing to always remember when I say something about fan bases, always remember I'm the one that responds to all the comments of everything we do. I've seen a trend with Seattle over the years. That's one of those places that I would not want to live in Seattle because I can't stand rain. I could play for that team because I love how you support your team and you don't turn on guys just because they had a bad week.
Yep.
Other fan bases, Dallas Cowboys, I can't say the same thing about you. You wanted to start Cooper Rush for an extended period of time.
Yep. All right, so after the Jalen Milroe pick, then in the 5th round, Torrey Horton.
I love the Torrey Horton pick.
That was the pick to me that I went, okay, you know what, Seattle, you're just going to keep doing it. You're just going to keep taking guys that I really, really like.
The guys in the chat, I promise you, I'm not blinking at you. There is no hostage situation here. I actually mean what I said. My railing on Jalen Milroe was I was convinced somebody was taking him in the top 50. You take a quarterback in the top 50, I don't give a damn what fan base it is. They're going to start clamoring for him at the first sight of instability. Taking Milroe where you took him, there'll be none of that. None of it.
So Torrey Horton comes in, and then what were the other good picks that they made?
Well, the ones I just said, Bryce Cabeldew and Ricky White III. The rest of them, the 7th round got kind of bootsy. Mason Richmond, I think he was literally like my 495 of 498 guys out on the board. But it wasn't nothing to write home about, but you had done so well to start that you hit Horton, the guys that I talked about there. Oh, by the way, you also signed Jared Ivey as an undrafted free agent who was in my top 100. The Seattle Seahawks, hold on, I didn't count this off before we started this. The Seattle Seahawks in a draft where 257 players were selected, another probably 300 undrafted free agents. They got 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 5 of my top 100. They only took 3 of them in the top 100. 2 of them came outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty solid.
All right, the Seahawks with the highest grade of the NFC.
But they're not the only A+.
Okay.
The Atlanta Falcons. But you gave up a first-round pick. No, I don't care. I don't care. You've had one huge problem for as long as I can remember. Since John Abraham left town, you've had one problem. You just fixed that. And you did it in the most multiple way humanly possible with Jalen Walker and James Pierce. They posted a picture on their social media. It was the two of them on the plane flying to Atlanta. One of them was wearing like a pinstripe suit and it just dressed to the nines.
Mm-hmm.
The other one looked like, I don't really care what you think of me. I just came to kill quarterbacks. And the line was, when you draft pass rushers, you need one that looks like this and one that looks like this. And I read that, and I went, I couldn't have said that any better if I thought about this for 5 days. I couldn't have said that any better. You're exactly right, because James Pierce is the guy that I completely trust. I know what he is. All you people that tell me, he's a character risk. Oh, the team hated him. Oh, the coaching staff hated him. Everybody hates James Pierce. Somebody went to his birthday party. Cool. A team traded up a first-round pick next year to go get him. You know what that tells me? I was right the whole time. And there were some stupid teams that fell for it. The Atlanta Falcons did their due diligence on James Pierce. They liked Jalen Walker better. I had heard that from early in the process. It was real close. And now they've got them both. And you know what makes me like one? The other. Because you're not expected to come in here and be the only guy. You're expected to come in here and be part of a pass rush unit. And I love it. Look, nobody has railed on Terry Fontenot drafts more than this dude right here. He crushed this one. But wait, there's more. He went and got Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman. They took 5 players that play 3 grand total positions. I'm fine with it. I have no problem with your offense. Your offense has one of the best offensive lines in the league. You have a good young quarterback. Kyle Pitts is still on the roster. Weird. I'm not surprised by that in the least. Drake London's still here. Bijan Robinson's still here. You added 4 dogs to your defense. That was your problem. You couldn't stop a nosebleed with a roll of paper towels. You can now. Oh, and by the way, you also drafted 3 of the 4 you drafted are ready to play and produce right now.
Yes. That was the biggest part to me, was that you went starter with your first 3 picks.
I think they went starter. I think they got 4 of them. Jalen Walker is the one that I'm scared of. Because I think you're going to move him all over the place, but taking James Pierce allows you to do that because he's not expected to be the home run pass rusher. Mm-hmm. He can play, he can stand up, he can put his hand down, he can play off-ball linebacker. We're going to figure it out because we have James Pierce. And I loved it. That is one of my favorite draft moves I've ever seen. And I haven't heard a soul talk about it yet.
Nope.
Well, because all anybody wants to talk about, well, they gave up a pick next year. They're in a window right now. They're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. Tampa Bay's on their 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years. They're seeing that going, Baker Mayfield ain't that good. Baker Mayfield's not good enough to continuously have all of this upheaval. They're drafting all these receivers, and I'm telling you it's because they know Chris Godwin, that's a Fabergé egg sitting on a hairpin, and Mike Evans is getting older. And he's not a receiver that's going to age all that well. I love it. I love it, and I'm telling you right now, I don't let draft classes sway me this much often. I will take the Atlanta Falcons to win that division this year, and I didn't think about it for 1/10 of a second.
Just want to remind everybody, it's the same thing he said last year.
And they had a chance to win it the last week of the season with a rookie quarterback. Oh, by the way.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They've gotten better. You haven't, to me.
Okay. A+ for the Atlanta Falcons and their duo of pass rushers in the first round, Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. We'll take a break here in the Sportsocracy. When we come back, we'll continue to count off the best drafts in 2025 for the NFC by at ESPN Draft Nerd, Jeremy Green.
Isn't making it through the offseason, but realizing there is...
All right, you're clear.
Thank you. We've got a super chat that we need to hit when we come back. We've also got another one when we do
ESPN Asheville everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, okay.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wilmer Valderrama and Freddie Rodriguez welcome another amigo to their podcast, Dos Amigos. Wilmer's friend and former That 70s Show castmate Topher Grace stops by the Speakeasy for a 2-part interview to discuss his career and reminisce about old times.
We were still in that place of like, what will this experience become? And you go, you're having the best time you're ever going to have. Yeah. But it was like such a perfect golden time.
Listen to Dos Amigos on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Dos Amigos.
Welcome to Harvest Farms, where the best organic or natural products are waiting for you, where the fields are filled with flavorful delights, and every bite is backed with the highest quality and attention. This is a place of affordable organic adventure, where freshness reigns supreme, that can only be found at Ingles. Harvest Farms Organics. You'll love what's inside.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
It is the 2025 NFL Draft Grades here in the Sportsocracy NFC edition. The Atlanta Falcons get an A+. Seattle Seahawks get an A+. You got another bird team with an A+?
I don't have another bird team with an A+, but I do have another A+.
Okay.
Your Washington Commanders. What am I supposed to not like? Just in theory, what am I supposed to not like? Adam Pearce put on a masterclass of reading the room. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Josh Connerly was always the top of the second tier. We kept putting him at the bottom of the first. I didn't really see it this way until I realized exactly what Adam Peters did here. All the linemen go really early. They did not have a first-round grade on Josh Simmons. I'm going to assume it's because of the medical. I don't know. And it shows me that they didn't because they took Connerly here. Connerly started a run of offensive linemen that ran for a full round. They got the one they wanted. But we need an edge rusher. I get it. And I agree with you that you did. Can't address every need in every draft. So you get the position that you can handle, which was Connerly. You draft a high-end upside guy. And they looked around and they said, you know what? We want a corner too. And I'll bet you one falls because they're all falling. And what happened? Trey Amos fell right in your lap.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that I had you taking in the first round originally fell in your lap in the second round. That's an A. That's an A if you didn't do anything else. If you just packed up shop and said, you know what? Good enough for us.
So did they do anything else is the question.
I like all of the picks they made. Jalen Lane is the best punt returner in this class. He's really good with the ball in his hand. You just got to teach him to run a route. Virtually everything he did was either at the line of scrimmage or behind it.
Mm-hmm.
He's now, in theory, if you were going to teach a guy how to do that, is there a better tutor for that than Deebo Samuel? Nope. So for a year, maybe even 2 years, I use you as a punt returner almost exclusively with the intention that you're going to be the low-cost replacement to Deebo a year or 2 years from now. 6th round, you took Kane Medrano. Fastest linebacker in the class. Sideline to sideline, just plays with his hair on fire. Has to learn to play more in control. Who's the best player I could possibly get to teach Kane Medrano to play under control as a linebacker? Bobby Wagner. He's on this team too. Then in the 7th round, you took a running back that was academically ineligible last year that would have gone way higher had he been able to play. Who's the best running back you could get to teach Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt to play running back in the NFL? Austin Eckler. He's on the roster too. This was a masterclass. With 5 picks. You had 5 picks. You got 2 of my top 35 in Connerly and Amos. You got another one that was just outside of my top 100 late in the 4th round. You got 2 more that made my draftable grade big board in the late 6 and late 7. It's a masterclass. I've heard 100 Commander fans tell me this over the last few days. We're just happy that we have adults running this team. You don't just have adults running this team. You have about as good of a front office structure right now as there is in the league, and it starts from the owner down. It's good time to be in Washington.
No doubt, and add on to that all of the news that came out after the draft that they're going to be moving back to downtown. They're getting the they're getting the approval to go put a new stadium down at RFK.
It has a glass roof too, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's got a glass roof with a nice little scenic view of the Capitol building. That's going to be awesome.
It's awesome.
And they'll host a Super Bowl in the first year.
No doubt. We have a super chat before we get to our first non-A+ grade in the NFC. James Pierce Jr. is true for fantasy as well, because for some reason I managed to land him at 51 in a 10-man dynasty rookie draft. Oh, by the way, he's starting week 1. Yeah, that's pretty solid. James Pierce Jr. is I'm reticent to say this, but I feel pretty good about it. If I had to make a wager right now on Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'd take James Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Because in terms of ready to play and put in a good situation with a team that's going to win, he's at the top of that.
On a team that has no other pass rush threat other than the other rookie that you had.
Who's
so there's
much rawer
plenty
than
of
he
room.
is.
Oh, yeah,
Who's
there's
much
plenty
rawer
of
than
room.
he is and will not put up the numbers he does.
Mm-hmm. Right.
James Pierce Jr., I'm
see
telling
that.
you right now, there will be teams that regret not taking him for many, many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Green, I understand why you didn't take him. I get why he fell. You wouldn't have just had to be comfortable. If you tell me I have the ability to get answers better than an NFL team, I'm going to tell you you're out of your mind. And I was so comfortable on JPJ, I was literally ready to wear a shirt to the draft that said JPJ is not a character concern. Underneath the button-up. And as soon as he got drafted, just Hulk smashed the button up and spin around like I tried to tell you.
All right, after the Commanders, who's your fourth
They
team?
said that Gary Birch in our YouTube chat said that's not an official rendering of the stadium. Can it be, though? Because it's real sweet, and I want it to be an official rendering.
Yeah.
Our next team, the Los Angeles Rams. I love what LA did.
Okay.
With limited capital. It's always more impressive to me when a team walks away with a good draft, not having a ton of picks. And I know somebody's going to say, but they took Terrence Ferguson too high. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. I heard his name 10,000 times through the process of that's the guy that we all like way better than you think. He's going to come in and start day one in a very pass-happy offense. He's a better blocker than you think, and he's got excellent hands. Not having Tyler Higbee also practically crippled that offense at times last year. Then you look at what they did from there. Josiah Stewart at the end of the third. But he's too little. Is he? Is he too little? Was he too little to be the number one pass rush win rate player in college football in the Big Ten, which is historically bigger and slower than the SEC? Was he too small there? I think they're going to move him all over the formation. He's going to play some off-ball linebacker. He's going to play some edge rusher. Love it. Then you took Jarquez Hunter in the fourth, who was one of the most talked about running backs among smart people during this class. That's the guy in day three that could ultimately become a starter. People worried about all of the wrong things with him. You hit Ty Hamilton in the fifth, which that was the one that, I mean, he's fine. You took him about where he belonged. So I'm not jumping up and down about that. Chris Paul Jr. at the end of the fifth round is the value pick of this draft. I don't care how short he is. I don't care how short his arms are. I don't care about any of it. And then the one that nobody will talk about because he was in the seventh round, Kenyatta Mumfield. That kid with the LA Rams, I had never pieced that together. Throughout the whole process, I never put that together. There were a lot of receivers I looked at and went, man, if they can get to LA, they're going French fry when they're supposed to French fry, and they're going to have a good time. Kenyatta Mumfield was the one that I never thought about. He's not only going to make this roster, he's going to be real good on this team. You were about to ask me, why is that?
Yeah, why does he fit?
Because the knock on him was that he didn't run well. How many times do you have to watch Sean McVay take these guys that you push down because they didn't run a 4.38, but they're really seamless in and out of breaks, just like Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson he ran a 4.54. Watch him on the field. He wins. Kenyatta Mumfield wins consistently. He's really good with ball in his hand. He is the definition of Puka Nacua light. And guess what? He's going to be a player on this team. It might take 2 years. Same thing I said about Jordan Whittington. When his number's called, he's going to be a player on this team. The Rams did a great job. And if you had told me in this draft class a team would trade down, be it Minnesota, the Rams, any of the ones that had limited capital, and they would find a way to still get an A, I would have said you were smoking crimes. Because the only way to do that, in my opinion, was to get a slew of picks between the start of the second and the end of the third. They had two of those.
Mm-hmm.
They also got two players that I liked in the top 100-ish in the fifth round. It's fantastic.
Okay. All right. The L.A. Rams picking up a 2026 first-round pick from the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh yeah, I forgot to add that part too.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did you kill the players that you selected, you also got a first-round pick next year.
Yes. Which, if Falcons don't do what Jeremy says they're going to do and win the division, then they're going to be it's going to be a middle of the round pick again.
And that's a top 20 pick if you don't make the playoffs.
Exactly. So, LA made some good moves. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue with the draft grades. You want to tease the next team for us?
I can do that. Let's see. We have 3 teams in the same division in the next 4.
Okay. All right. So we'll take care of one of the divisions. Almost. Coming up next.
And we've already had the 4th one. So
there you go. You're on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
ESPN Asheville.
And we're clear.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Most of us, no rain this afternoon. Some pop-up showers, thunderstorms. So if you are moving around, you got a better chance of hitting something that pops up. Stay stationary, stay home in the backyard, enjoy the beautiful weather. Not much of a chance of rain. 80 degrees with sun and clouds. Tonight, some clouds, 55. Tomorrow, a little better chance of some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, 82. I'm meteorologist Ray
Apparently, my
Skagit from the
spoiler
Weather
was
Channel.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car.
Well, there wasn't a single team in that division that had a bad draft.
Carload of cash
said,
right
where
now.
the hell's Arizona?
So what are you
Notice
waiting
I said
for?
in the next
Check
4 teams.
Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Out here, you'll find
Notice
a
I said
community
there
of
are 3
hardworking
in the next
creators
4. That means there's
with
4
loyal
teams
followers, along with proud moments worth sharing. And farm to table, well, that's just supper. And whether it's a raised garden bed, acres of land, or something for your animals.
Abe said put the NFC North to shame. Yeah, as a division, the NFC North got a Gary Busey.
The NFC North, I'm just looking at my grades
the
here.
budget has to be used
The
now,
NFC North
and
had
we
the
can use
lowest
all the
team
media buy?
of the
Javier's
5
marketing
bottom
firm
teams.
just
had
got
4
its dream funding. Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads.
The
No.
best grade
T-shirt.
a team in that division got was a 6.
I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it
No, jackass, I do not gamble on baseball.
$5 credit
God,
at
you should.
Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
No,
If for
I don't
nothing
think
else,
so.
because it was fun.
That is the
Tank
Right on
comes
the app.
in,
There's
looks
a
like
list
it
of
slept
what's
3 days.
trending. There's
Oh, I
some
lost the last
podcasts.
leg
I
of a
love
14
it.
banger.
You know what everyone's talking about.
In the
And
NL
the
West
new
last
and
night.
free
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has 2 things.
We could
that all
track
Sportsocracy
Tank's
fans
descent
crave.
into madness
Bold
as he
flavors, big
full-on
portions.
turns into a
Oh,
full-fledged
yeah. And they've got the
MLB
balls.
gambler.
Bear's famous bear balls are packed with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried, and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. We'll just take the over on strikeouts every night, and I think that'll work pretty well.
Jack Bird said he thought you called him Jackass. That's the hardest part of saying Jackass's name with both of our accents. It sounds like that every
Asheville
single
at
time.
Clarissa Sells WNC with
Hey, jackass!
the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
At Ingles, we know that fresh means local. The best ingredients don't come from a world away. They come from your own backyard. From the
Flying
farms we
Scotsman
support
said he's
to the
never
stores
gambled
we
before.
love, to the
That makes
tables
me like
treasure.
you even better.
Ingles.
I
we're
wish
with
I
you
had never
every
gambled.
step of the way.
This is J.W. Whitley,
Kinda like I
General
look at
Manager
Priest
Parks
and go,
Ford of
you know, if I'd
Hendersonville.
never had
I would
sex,
like to
I'd be a
introduce
lot
you to some
happier,
of
too.
our very own
'Cause
Parks
I wouldn't
community
even know what I
heroes,
was missing.
like Eric, who hosted the football team to
I
support
could
their
just do
neighbors
the
and
Lord's
begin the
work
cleanup
and be a
efforts.
goodman.
Like Jeff and Chris, who led a
Instead-
fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with
egotistical
emergency services to
36-year-old.
all.
Although, Jack, I could get behind that little. Are you parlaying all that together? That's not bad.
Heroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com.
Adam Blake
Experience
said,
the Parks
"Did you say the
Promise
Lord's
today
work?
at
I'm here."
parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
We are back at the Sportsocracy. It is NFC draft grades after the 2025 NFL draft. Still trying to shake out the cobwebs from the 13-hour drive on Sunday.
I know that drive really took it out of me too.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I
snored for about 6 hours of it.
I think it was more than 6 hours of it. But hey, we found a new way home too. That was pretty cool.
We avoided the gorge. We saw Anytown, USA. I don't know how any of you live out there, because good Lord, your nearest Ingalls is like 30 miles away from there, and any place that I don't have I have 2 Ingalls within a mile of my house, and that's why I live there, because it's convenient, because I love the savings with Ingalls, and I love the winnings with me.
That's right. The Ingalls Living the Dream Tour was a blast. I want to, again, just give a shout-out to our crew that we took along with us, David Smith of Armchair Commentary, our lovely Canadan, Cowboys Zach Hurst, and, of course, Jonathan Welch, the glue guy. Glue guy. We had a blast. It was an awesome time. And I could not imagine doing draft weekend without those guys again. So if we get another chance to do that, hopefully the crew gets to come for next year's draft as well.
Look, in the words of the great poet, one philosopher himself, Snoop Dogg, it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none.
NFC draft grades continuing here in the Sportsocracy. Flostradamus awarding A-pluses to the Atlanta Falcons, Seattle Seahawks, Washington Commanders, Los Angeles Rams. Had an A draft for you as well. Who's next on the list?
The Philadelphia Eagles. Man, you've got a lot of players. I didn't love this class as much as I thought I would.
Okay, why?
Well, you got a lot of injury smoke out there about Jahad Campbell. I don't know how much of it's true. A lot of it came up in the last 2 weeks of the draft, and you know that last fortnight is the lying fortnight. Mm-hmm. So I'm not putting a ton into it, but it does make me a little nervous. I like Jahad, and I love the fact he went to Philadelphia. I'm also very confused as to why'd you feel the urge to trade up? Like, even though you only gave up like a 5th-round pick to do it, did you think Kansas City was doing that? Because they weren't. But you get Jahad, that's really good, really solid, and you'll hear me say those phrases here a lot. Andrew Makuba, it's really solid, but man, he's small.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, super small. So he can play over the top. Great. I like Ty Robinson in this situation because I think he's going to play 3-4 defensive end. I think he will be a 5-tech here. Then it just got very meh to me. Smile Munden, if you can teach him to play linebacker, ham up the instincts, okay. Drew Kendall, just a guy. He's fine. He'll be a nice depth piece.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle McCord was weird to me. Why do you need another quarterback? How many of those do you want on this roster? And then Miles Hinton, he's fine. He's fine.
Well, they had to find a replacement for Kenny Pickett.
I thought that was DTR. They got him in the trade. So you've already got Tanner McKee, who I like a lot.
DTR. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Tanner McKee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how that doesn't make a whole lot of sense?
Yeah.
Then,
just adding competition.
Your saving grace was the end. You had 2 picks at the end of the 6th round. You got Cameron Williams and Antoine Power Island.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at that and went, way to finish strong, Howie. Way to finish strong. You got, bar none, the best player on the board, who's been the best player on the board for 2 full days.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got, I think, an elite pass rush specialist. That's all he's ever going to be able to do. But he will be able to come in and rush passers. I thought it was a really strong, if not somewhat unspectacular, week from Philadelphia. Look, they did exactly what I said they were going to do. They sat there and let guys fall right in their lap. And it worked over and over and over again. I'm just not sure you added a lot of depth. I'm not sure you added anybody that's going to play on this team. Jihad will. Makuba will.
No doubt.
Everybody else is probably just 2 or 3 buried on the depth chart.
Yes. But that also speaks to how good the Philadelphia Eagles roster is, period, anyway. At this point, you're just, we'll bring in a guy that can try to compete.
Oh, and
string.
I see a couple of Eagle fans saying that Tanner McKee's going to sign a big money deal elsewhere. I wouldn't be looking to get the comp pick on him. I would be trying to get a draft pick for him right now. If that's what – and I said that at the draft. That's what you're doing, and DTR is going to be the backup and McCord's the 3, got it. If Tanner McKee ends up with the Saints to compete with Tyler Shuck, okay, I take everything I just said about Kyle McCord back. Mm-hmm. Because all you're doing is the same thing you did before. The medical on Tanner McKee is so scary that I don't see anybody giving him huge money. I think you're going to fall on the wrong side of that comp formula is basically what I'm saying.
In order to be signed to a big deal by somebody else, you have to play first, right?
Not necessarily. Scott Mitchell showed that. And Tanner McKee showed enough that I'm telling you, there are teams that would be interested in him.
Really? Okay. After Philadelphia.
Well, we've already had Washington.
Mm-hmm.
We've already had Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like time for the New York Football Giants. They also got an A. And I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't expect to say that when we went into that. I like what the Giants did a lot.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to figure out how they're not higher than this. No slouch at any other team. I'm just when the process was done, I went, damn, if New York's not in the top 5 of this, they did it wrong.
Well, I love your top 2. So I mean, you got Abdul Carter, you got Jackson Dart.
Mm-hmm.
Hammers.
And then you got Big Daddy Darius,
who's 84 years old.
Seasoned player.
He is the twin brother of gangsta granddaddy Demetrius Knight, because he's already Darius Alexander has a 6-year-old kid
mm-hmm.
that was born while he was at Toledo. I know I've said that a lot. That's my funniest stat of this entire draft. He was at Toledo so long that he has a kid in elementary school that was born after he got there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine. I didn't feel like they addressed needs quite as well because you got no receiver here. So now you've got Jackson Dart, who in theory is going to be throwing to the exact same group of guys that you had last year. You also didn't address linebacker at any point, which is a little strange to me. You didn't get a corner that I think can play. I'm not going to say it all because I think Corey Black can play. Not early. I like the players you got. The reason they're not higher is I'm not so sure you filled need the way that you think you did. Abdul Carter was not a need. You already had Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns. Now, that being said, you couldn't bypass him. And you should be able to annihilate quarterbacks. But that wasn't a need. Darius Alexander was not really a need. Scattaboo was.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Bowe was. Jackson Dart was. I love the players you got. I'm just still looking at your roster going, hey, you're awful in like 5 different places, right? And it's not the positions that you took.
No, but they got really good players. And that's a good value for a team that does have so many holes. Look, they weren't going to be competitive this year anyway.
Soaring Eagle said Carter is kind of a need because Thibodeau's not really that good, but he should be. I think that's more a deficiency of this defense than it is. Because, look, I'm going to level with you. I could easily see a path that a year from now, what I said about Pierce winning Defensive Rookie of the Year is because I look at the situation Abdul Carter's going into, that's not going to be great for you to put up stats in year 1.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw Gary Birch say the next staff will really like all these guys. That's the comment of the Giants. You win because that's right.
Yeah. You don't have a path to win with this team. We're drafting for 2-3 years from now. We're not an immediate impact team.
I just want to state this for the record. I think the New York Giants are going to be really good defensively and absolutely dadgum terrible offensively. This is going to be a team that loses a lot of games, like 16-4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also scared to death for the prognosis of Jackson Dart playing behind that offensive line, but that's just me.
All right, after the Giants,
we have a super chat with this team. And friend Sir Jimothy, who said, just go ahead and give the Cowgirls a C. Everybody else seems to be giving them a B. I gave them an A-. I love what Dallas did, other than your first-round pick. Your first-round pick was an Alex Jones, Gary Busey level of nanners that I can't wrap my brain around.
They were the team that pulled the trigger too early on Tyler Booker.
I just don't get it. I don't get what you saw. And look, maybe the kid turns into a stud. Can't say that. Can't say that he won't. I will say you took him too early.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me super nervous. But thankfully for Dallas, the draft does not end in round 1.
It does not. Second round, they started to kill it.
Donovan Ezeraku and Savone Ravel on day 2.
Mm-hmm.
Does it get any better than that?
No, it does not.
I mean, that's 2 guys I had first-round grades on. You got in the second and third round. And day 3 wasn't bad either. Ajani Cornelius, I thought that was solid. Jaden Blue's going to have a role as a pass-catching back. Jay Toya's a nice piece to put in the center of that defense. There's a lot to like here. I just really didn't like what you did in round 1.
So that is every team in the NFC East
in the
with
top
an A.
7. They're all in the top 7 of the NFC.
They all got either an A or an A plus
or an
for
A
their
minus.
draft.
Cowboys got an A minus.
Oh, the Cowboys got an A minus. Excuse me. All right, and you want to get one more in before the top of the hour break here?
I hate to disappoint Sir Jimothy, but I like their draft way better than he does. This is a team we were also asked about in the chat. The Arizona Cardinals. It's a B+. I love the fact you got Walter Nolan at 16.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I love the fact you got Will Johnson in the middle of the second round. That was 2 guys that I mocked you in 1 that you got in 1 and 2. Now, if you ask me why is the grade not any higher than this when they crushed the next 2 picks, because I genuinely don't think 3 of the next 5 guys are going to make this roster over the next 3 years. Jordan Birch was a horrible reach. Horrible reach. I don't get in any – he went ahead of guys that make my brain hurt. I liked Cody Simon. I liked Keaton Crawford. Denzel Burke and Hayden Connor, I won't be shocked if they don't make the roster this year, let alone year over year. Terrible reaches. Arizona gets a very high grade because you got 2 of my they got 2 of my top 13 players. From there, you didn't do squat.
Right.
You didn't get another player in the top 100. And that's disconcerting.
Mm-hmm. But very top-heavy. And the fact that you didn't have, 2 top 15 picks, but you got 2 top 15 players, that's going to sway anybody's grade.
No doubt. And that's why you have a B+. That's why you got a B+. I love what you did there. And look, if you walk away from a draft with 2 high-end long-term starters, that's a good draft. And I think you did.
Yep.
One of them has an injury history that's obviously very scary and scared off a lot of teams.
I was trying to find the comment from earlier. Somebody went in on the Jordan Birch pick, and I lost it.
It's bad.
That's
one that is bad.
It was a good comment. I remember chuckling, thinking, because it was something to the effect of the Arizona Cardinals went full Gary Busey with the Jordan Birch pick.
That to me was one of the worst picks of this draft, especially as many talented players were still on the board that would have filled a need or that they had met with. I didn't like it.
Yep.
But you did crush those first two.
All right, your top 8 draft grades of the 2025 NFL draft from the NFC. We will give you the bottom 8, which means also still to come.
And this is the time for me to give a little tease. In life, sometimes there's good, hit a wall, terrible. We're not far from where we hit that wall because there's 1B total. There's 1 C+. There are 4 Ds or worse left.
Whew. Got bad for the bottom of the NFC. We'll get into it after this on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
ESPN Asheville.
Clear.
Your camera's
Your
frozen.
mountain weather forecast.
Most of us, no rain
Oh,
this
there it
afternoon.
came back.
Some pop-up showers, thunderstorms. So if you are moving around, you got a
You were
better
fat
chance
baby
of
tank for about the
hitting
last
something
5
that
minutes
pops
of that
up.
segment.
Stay stationary, stay.
Okay.
I don't know
Enjoy
why
the
your
beautiful
camera
weather.
frozen. I assumed your computer
Not much of a
was
chance.
Everything's blipping out in here, so
It's 55. Tomorrow, a little better chance of some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms.
the board's having an infarction.
From the Weather Channel.
This report.
Internet keeps dying.
Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not you.
Carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today.
I have a setup
You're
now
in good
that's
hands with
a
Allstate.
lean, mean machine.
Websites keep crashing. The damn computer is like trying to shut down on me. It's not fun.
NFC Leagues. Bonus bucks.
What
the winning
happened?
happens every weekday, right here.
Damn, I said that.
ESPN
and
Asheville.
Somehow
Looking for a career with stability and
that's the wrong
purpose?
one.
NC Department of Adult Correction
I was
is
like,
hiring
what in the
correctional
world just
officers
happened?
statewide with a $10,000 sign-on bonus, paid vacation, and benefits. Learn more. Visit dac.nc.gov/co-jobs.
I saw
This
yesterday's
story of the
summation
one.
screen.
As a
and I
maintenance
went, but this
specialist for
screen's not
university
open.
housing, students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies
Kevin
he needs.
Fick signing,
That's
which
where
makes me
Grainger
very
comes in.
happy.
With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the
All right, I'm
quality
gonna go
products he
cram
needs
a
so he
piece
doesn't
of
have
pizza in my
to.
mouth
From a
real
new
fast. I'm
door
about to
hinge,
starve to death.
Right on.
call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For pure safety and total clean, call Zero Res right now. Get 3 for the price of 2. That's 3 rooms of carpet clean, but only pay for 2. Mention ESPN Asheville to secure this deal today. Book online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
This Medical Minute brought to you by Haywood Regional Medical Center. Expecting a new baby? At Haywood Regional Medical Center, we help deliver joy. And when you have a new addition to the family, you want to give birth in the place that feels like home. Haywood Regional Medical Center has private rooms for mothers and families so you can stay close to the ones you love. Tour our birthing facility in person and see the comfortable rooms where you can welcome the newest member to your family. And when adding a new baby, Haywood Regional Medical Center understands the importance of a personalized birthing experience. That's why we bring together a skilled team of doctors, nurses, and midwives right here in your own community for every delivery. In addition, to help ease your journey into parenthood, we offer classes for soon-to-be mothers and their partners so you can learn what to expect during labor, postpartum, breastfeeding, and newborn care. At Haywood Regional Medical Center, we'll help you and your newborn live your healthiest life. Visit myhaywoodregional.com to learn more or schedule a tour. This Medical Minute brought to you by Haywood Regional Medical Center.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
At Ingalls, we know that fresh means local. The best ingredients don't come from a world away. They come from your own backyard, which is why we rise to the challenge of providing the freshest items you'll find anywhere. Getting our foods from the farms we support, to the stores we love, to the tables you treasure. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks Community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Don't miss the Cold Mountain Music Festival at beautiful Lake Logan in Canton, North Carolina, Friday and Saturday, May 30th and 31st. This year's lineup has Fireside Collective, Melissa Carper, the Shed House Trio featuring Darren Nicholson, Denisha, Fancy
You know why
and the
working
Gentlemen,
from
The
home is
Last
far
Rebel,
superior
and
to having to
American
come into the
Aquarium.
studio?
Proceeds support the programs of
My wife doesn't make me
the
lunch when I
Outdoor
work at the
School, and for
studio.
every ticket.
That's true. Very true.
She made a
$1 to
flatbread
support this
pizza
year's
that's out of this
participating
world.
jam musicians. General admission.
I mean, you could tell her she could come and fix us lunch every day if she wanted to, but
she's not going to want to.
she's not going to want to. Damn it. I thought she loved me.
iHeartRadio. So good. Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
Go to espnavl.com to play, and good luck.
Live from the Ingalls studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh, my God. The Jets killed him.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, and we are seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat. We are wrapping up our first thoughts on the 2025 NFL Draft. Well, I guess the first thoughts were the live thoughts while we were in Green Bay on the Ingalls Living the Dream tour.
We're officially doing Deep Thoughts with Stone Handy.
Indeed. This is the post-mortem on the 2025 NFL Draft. The draft grades for the NFC.
We have a super chat before we get into the next team.
Right.
Jumped right ahead of us for a Moon My Laying. We couldn't move down. That means your board's broken. I mean, if you panic and took Jordan Birch, I hope for your sake that's not the case. I just hope they got the eval wrong on him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I'm just looking at guys back behind him at positions that you needed. I mean, there's a lot of talent that went right behind him. I'm not sure how you got there. I mean, for the love of God, Xavier Watts was still on the board at that point. Not saying he was a need for Arizona. Just in terms of the talent. There was still a ton of talent on the board. And that's one of those – and there's about 20 of those a year that are just – I can't look past it. I can't unsee that that's a thing you did.
No. The Arizona Cardinals with a B+ in the Flostradamus grades. Who's next?
The Carolina Panthers. It's a B+. Look, I told you there were a lot of good grades in the NFC. It falls off a cliff in a hurry. I like what Carolina did a lot. I love the fact you took Ted McMillan at 8.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think you were doing it under any circumstances, but you did. I think that's a solid selection. It's a lot better than expecting one of these younger pass rushers to come in and be the only pass rusher on the team. Then in 2 and 3, you got Nick Skjorton. Oh, hurting for a scouting. Last time I get to say that. Makes me very sad. But now he's here, and I get to say it to his face, and I'm very excited about that. Or very terrified of it. Not sure which one. And Princely Amunmalayan. That's 2 guys that can get after quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And I think that's long-term your 2 edge rushers in this odd front. Then we get to day 3, and this is where I didn't love it as much. I don't know what you would need to have consumed to have gotten Trevor Etienne ahead of DJ Giddens. It's a level of drugs that I think would have killed Gary Busey. I think it would have killed Keith Richards. Mm-hmm. I think it would have killed Charlie Sheen. And I think it would have killed me. Because that, my friends, is the definition of insanity. You know how they have that saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? No. We've changed that saying forever. The definition of insanity is drafting Trevor Etienne over DJ Giddens. But on field, it's not even close. So, well, maybe you think Trevor Etienne's just a real good – nope, not a good guy either. More DUIs than touchdowns. That's a bad sign for an NFL running back.
Yep.
I don't get it. And that one by itself brought you down a full letter grade. Because you told me throughout the process you wanted a running back, and then you got one that I didn't even have a draftable grade on in the 4th round. Mm-hmm. I like Lathan Ransom. He's kind of a hat on a hat with Trevon Moehrig, though. And I was afraid of that. There were a lot of teams that liked Ransom in the process. Philadelphia was the one that I think I mocked him there a couple times. It seemed like every team that had him in for visits or was really hot on him, they already had a box safety. I'm not real sure how you're planning on deploying him. I love that you have him. I'm just not sure what that's going to look like. Cam Jackson, okay. You missed on Deion Walker because somebody took him way ahead of you. Way ahead of where we thought he would go. So you wound up with the next nose tackle on the board. I get it. I don't love it, but I get it. Then at 527, you made the greatest selection in NFL draft history. Better than Tom Brady, better than Joe Montana. Mitchell Evans, the tight end out of Notre Dame. I love that kid so much, and I'm so glad he's playing in Carolina. I can't wait for training camp so I can walk up to his gigantic self and say, Mitchell, I know you don't know me, but this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Or I'm just going to walk up to him and quote Wyatt Earp from Tombstone and see if he gets it. And if he does, we're going to go do karate in the garage immediately.
What are you going to tell him?
I mean, I'm your Huckleberry. He's going to be in there somewhere.
Ah, gotcha.
And then if he shoots me down, I will not be able to go on if I think we are not friends.
And yeah, they're getting Mitchell Evans and Tet McMillan to add for Bryce Young and this resurgence of his career or surgence of his career.
Bryce Young's going to look like the coach
of
the
the
Monstars.
Mm-hmm.
With this receiver room, now Bryce Young is going to walk out with those guys and look like that little dude with a cigar in his mouth that was coaching the Monstars in Space Jam. Like, wow, you have some big friends.
Well, look,
you need a box to stand on or something because they're way bigger than you.
Well, look, they had to get big, tall receivers because those are the only ones he could see over the offensive line. So,
I thought this was solid for Carolina. Jimmy Horn Jr. That's a dart throw at best. Yeah, he's fast, and I think he can return punts. I didn't think there was a ton to him. I thought he was the biggest name with the worst pro prospects. of all the Colorado guys.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I thought this was really good.
It was a really good class. The only thing I did not like about it is that they did not find a way to get another corner in there somewhere. But I guess you're just going to – maybe next year you'll be able to stop the pass.
I told you, day 3 corners, you're better off buying $5 lottery scratchers.
Mm-hmm. It'd have been a risk. Sure. After Carolina.
Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
Mm-hmm.
You got this is the biggest B class I've ever seen in my life. Because I don't really dislike the players. I just really dislike them for you.
Okay. Emeka Egbuka, you thought that was idiocy at 19.
I thought it was too high for him, and it makes 0 sense for you to have taken him. You're the slottiest team outside of the Seattle Seahawks in the NFL, and you took another one. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was strange, and then day 2 happened. And you took a corner I love in Benjamin Morrison to play in a situation that I absolutely hate for him. How often do you play press man?
Not much.
If ever.
If at all. Yeah.
That's what he
5
does
snaps
best.
a game.
That's what he does best. So now you're going to ask him to play off-ball zone? Okay. And then you took another corner that has the same problem. Jacob Parrish is the most hyper-aggressive slot corner in this class. You're playing them both off the receiver. Jason, buddy, this is like a Madden draft where a kid went, well, that's the best player on the board. He plays the position I need. Yeah, but he doesn't fit your scheme. You see the little puzzle piece? He doesn't have it. He's great somewhere else. He's not great here. And then day 3 happened.
Mm-hmm.
And you saved a whole mess of me screaming at you on day 3 because I thought all 3 of those picks were total hammers. Because David Walker, he fits your scheme real, real well.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah Roberts, how many times I have Jared Ivey to you? Elijah Roberts and Jared Ivey are practically the same guy.
Yep.
And you got him in the end of the 5th. And then, of course, you couldn't help it. One thing I've learned about guys that love slots, they cannot help but do it again and again and again and again.
Nope.
And you took another one.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Light heard me say, how many slot receivers do you need? And his answer was at least 1 more.
You can't have
sign 2 more as priority undrafted free agents.
You can't have too many weapons. We're going to find out who the
play
best
them together.
We're going to find out who the best 8 of them are.
Do you know how many receivers you actively have on your 90-man roster right now? Because I do, because I love it.
I think it's 16.
There's one that you could, in theory, consider a tight end if we go full Aronde Gadsden and we don't care that you're not going to block a soul ever.
Mm-hmm.
You have 15 no-doubt receivers.
Yep.
9 of them play not better out of the slot. They play exclusively out of the slot. I got nothing. This is one of those times I can't even begin to surmise what you think you're going to do here.
Well, you're going to cut the ones that aren't good enough.
Then why did you draft them?
Because you're not going to cut any of the ones you draft. Tez Johnson and Emeka Egbuka, they're making this team.
Okay. Well, you drafted all the rest of them, too. You drafted Raheem Jarrett. You drafted Trey Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
This is
and
the
no
definition
good.
of a team not understanding how the draft works.
You draft a guy and he's no good. Why are you just going to keep him?
Did you have a problem with Raheem Jarrett last year? Did you have a problem with Trey
He
Palmer?
never played.
He played enough that you could see he's worth being on an NFL roster.
Okay.
I mean, this is the nicest way I can say this. If you thought slot corner was the problem for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't need to hear anything else you have to say because you are absolutely freaking clueless. You needed a guy that could play on the outside. You drafted 2 that play exclusively on the inside. That doesn't work. This is one of the all right. The best way I can explain this be like you in radio. Somebody comes in and they want to do a radio show, and they say all the swears, and you go, "Well, you can just edit it and post." It doesn't work that way, stupid. It's live. That's what I'm doing here. I can't even fathom what this is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where any of these guys go. I don't understand where Benjamin Morrison goes because he doesn't play well in zone. That's all you play. And he's hurt. You took him over well, you didn't take him over him, in fairness. Well, actually, you did because Revel went in 3. You took Benjamin Morrison in 2. Savon Ravel was sculpted by the gods to play cornerback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you went, nope, can't do it.
Nope.
Got to take the one that can't do what we're going to ask him to.
Can't do the kid with the knee that fits the scheme. We got to take the kid with the hip that doesn't fit the scheme.
Yeah, the kid we can't take the kid that might have lost 400ths of a second off his 40 time. We got to take the one that may never walk again that doesn't play in this system anyway. And I'm not going to lie, I did this great, and I got more and more pissed because the more I looked at it, the more I liked the players. I just hate them for you.
Mm-hmm.
That was cathartic. I hated your team. I spent more time on your team. Your write-up is when people see the final Bucs team grade, they're going to think I was smoking crack. Because it is like I just bounced from wall to wall, and it doesn't make contingent sense.
Yeah,
and
this is a B, but I hate all of this.
It's a B, but I hate it for you. It's on any other team, this would have been an A+. But you are dumb, and you don't understand your roster, and it makes me angry.
Okay.
I can't wait to do this 3 years from now when like 4 of these guys aren't on this team anymore, and I go, see? I tried to tell you.
All right, after Tampa.
The New Orleans Saints. It's a C+. And I think I'm being pretty nice about this. I love the Kelvin Banks pick. Love it.
You should.
I don't have a problem with the Tyler Shuck pick. I like him a lot. And he's ready to play right now. I know a lot of people are going to say, but you could have had Shador. Yeah, Shador's not ready to play right now. Tyler Shuck is. Tyler Shuck's the last player in NFL history drafted that was born in the 1990s. It's from there that I go, what would you say you're doing here? Vernon Broughton at the top of 3 is very confusing to me. I don't see it. I also don't know what it is that you're about to ask him to do. I felt like you needed a defensive tackle, just not that one. Then you go down to Jonas Sanker, who I like, played a lot of football. I thought he was going to be an elite special teams guy early on that might find himself a role down the line. You took him in the 3rd round. Danny Stutzman, awesome. If you wanted a first 2-down linebacker, you might have got the best one in this class. The problem is he couldn't cover a blind house cat. Air Bud would have 400 yards receiving on him. That was the dog, right?
Yeah, it was the dog.
Okay. Quincy Riley. Have you watched Kellen or have you watched Brandon Staley play defense? Because Quincy Riley is like the definition of a guy that doesn't fit that. I like Devin Neal. I think he got really good value there. I like Fadil Diggs a lot. Those two almost single-handedly kept this from being a D. I just thought it was clunky. I thought every bit it was clunky. And I look at some of these other classes and go, there's no doubt in my mind you got 3 or 4 starters out of this class. New Orleans will be lucky if they got to 2. And that's if they hit on Shuck. I believe fully in Kelvin Banks. I said this numerous times. I think Kelvin Banks can be Jonathan Ogden in the right situation. This also allows you to push Talise Fuaga back to the right side. As I'm going to straight up tell you, Kelvin Banks is getting the first crack at left tackle. You took him in the top 10. I like that part. It's just everything else I thought was meh.
Yeah. All right. Terribly average. New Orleans Saints.
Terribly average. The Tank Spencer story. I couldn't help it. I wanted to. Wow. Oh, no, I forgot. We already named your autobiography. Misusing the Leading Edge. The Tank Spencer story.
That's going to be Carson Beck's story.
For sure. How to lose a hot girl in 8 days. That's the Carson Beck story.
All right, and then after New Orleans?
The Detroit Lions. I wanted to love it all. And I stared at this on my screen like, this is good, right? I mean, they took guys that I like. I love Isaac Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
You traded up to get Isaac Tesla higher than I would have taken him. That is saying something. I was like 2 days away from being an adopted member of his family. You traded up and took him higher than I would. I did a lot of mocks. A lot. I didn't see Tyleik Williams in the first round, not one time. At least not after the season.
Right.
I felt like that was high. I felt like it was high on Ratledge. I felt like it was high on Tesla. And the rest of it was just fine. Your saving grace is that I like all of these players. And Brad Holmes has shown over the years, I don't give a damn where you think I should take a guy. If he's a dog, he's going to be a lion. And I'm going to get him where I think I have to get him. And that's all well and good. I just felt like you could have done more with the capital that you had.
So what grade do you give them?
C.
A C.
You can't have this many players that I like and me just kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, look, I think everybody thought I hated Tate Ratledge. I hated him where he was projected to go, and it was this that I was afraid of. I was afraid that he went to the combine and he showed that he's crazy athletic and all, blah, 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 and now he's going to go way too high. And he did. There was not a guard outside of Tyler Booker and Gray Zabel that it should have gone in the top 64. I said it 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
There was not a natural guard in this class that belonged in the first 2 rounds. And that's where you took Ratledge. And I was scared of that from the get-go. Now, where you're putting him in Detroit, with all of the talent around him, he's going to have Penei Sewell on the outside of him and Frank Ragnow on the inside. That sets you up to be really good at football. Tyleik Williams, you got Aiden Hutchinson on the outside. I'm also very curious, but where was the edge rusher? Do you, honest to God, think Marcus Davenport's the actual answer there? Because if you do, we need to talk. Saints fans, tell them.
That was my biggest problem with this draft as well, was that I had thought it was no-brainer that's where they're going to go with their first pick. And if not their first pick, their second pick surely is going to be a pass rusher to put out there with Aiden Hutchinson. You know me, I like Tyleik Williams. I think he's a dog, and I think he fits Dan Campbell, and I think it's going to be phenomenal. But the fact that you didn't get an edge rusher was kind of crazy. I mean, well, I guess you did, but I don't know much about
Ahmad
Hassanin. That pick
honestly,
was Hassanin.
I thought he was going to be a 3-4 defensive end, to be honest with you. So I really don't know how he fits here.
Yeah.
He's a Dan Campbell guy because he is a super high motor.
Okay.
First player in NFL history to be drafted from Egypt. He lived in Egypt till he was 8. And I like the story. I like the kid. That's what I kept doing with Detroit. I like this kid. I just don't understand how he fits with you, and I don't know why you took him so high.
Right.
But I will say, I do look at Brad Holmes and just go, all hail the non-mullet king. Hail. You're real good at this, so I'm not going to kill it because I do like the players, and I know how smart Brad Holmes is.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't want 3 years from now you to have 4 Pro Bowlers and me go, this was stupid. Nope, not doing it. And Brad,
not
I trust.
Be that guy.
I'll give it a C. That's as harsh as I'm gonna be on it.
Okay. All right. A C for the Detroit Lions, as they try to make that next step, be the contender that we think that they could be. Any of these guys going to make a big impact on that? It remains to be seen.
Joseph Osteen said, remember that grade you gave 2 years ago when they took Jahmyr Gibbs that high? I do. I actually liked that class. I don't remember exactly what grade I gave it. I remember just killing the Jahmyr Gibbs thing.
Yes.
Which,
way too high.
Guess what? It worked out just fine.
It did.
I was too busy telling Lions fans how right I was because I had them taking Laporta and Jack Campbell. And I think I hit 5 guys in my last mock draft that wound up going to the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the grade was. But, look, that class changed your franchise.
Yep.
I don't think this class is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you did get some usable pieces. Just maybe too high.
Yeah, maybe too high. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400 NFC. Draft grades continue after this.
Bonus.
Clear.
Bonus.
And here comes the
$1,000
turd.
in bonus bucks.
Also known as the rest of the NFC North.
Bonus bucks. The winning happens every weekday, right here
on ESPN Asheville.
Explore a career as a correctional officer. NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring with a $10,000 sign-on bonus. Becoming a correctional officer can be a rewarding first step along a criminal justice career. Visit dac.nc.gov/co-jobs.
News has never been so important.
We've got breaking news from Capitol Hill.
And iHeart makes it so easy to stay in the know with 24/7 news on iHeartRadio. A major
Feels like it only
medical
just began.
research live around the clock, so you're never more than 3 minutes away from the stories that matter most.
Extreme weather is impacting millions.
24/7 news right at your fingertips with the free iHeart app, where you can now make 24/7 news a preset for even quicker access. 24/7 news on iHeartRadio.
Looking to buy or sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
I'm Coley Duffy.
I'm Cody Ward.
And
we're the Chainsaw Brothers.
Actually, we're cousins. A few days after Helene, we was in the driveway having a couple beers, waiting on the power to come back on. And we heard so many people calling, needing trees removed, and couldn't afford it.
So I called my dad to borrow a chainsaw, and over the next few months, we cleared trees for our neighbors. Our business was born out of wanting to help Western North Carolina get back on our feet.
We are fully insured and licensed. We keep our promises, meaning if we say we're going to be there, we'll be there. In these parts, we live how we were raised.
When you call the Chainsaw Brothers, you're not a customer, you're family. We're good at what we do, and we do it for a reasonable cost.
For all your chainsaw needs, call the Chainsaw Brothers. 828-316-1013. Or find us on Facebook. See how we treat our family.
Are you still covered up with storm damage and debris?
Call us about our daily rates at 828-316-1013. That's 828-316-1013. We're the Chainsaw Brothers, and with our neighbors, we're Western North Carolina strong.
At Ingalls, we know that fresh means local. The best ingredients don't come from a world away. They come from your own backyard. From the farms we support, to the stores we love, to the tables you treasure. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
We're just dumping a bag of hammers.
We're back in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We have crossed the threshold here with the NFC draft grades, Jeremy.
It's the poop tier. We're officially to the poop tier.
We're officially to the poop tier. All right, give us your first poop tier team. Who falafeled the 2025 NFL Draft?
The Green Bay Packers.
Uh-huh.
Yep, you brought us all to your town. You showed it off. And all of us felt the same way about your town we did about your draft class. Unimpressed. Matthew Golden in the first round. And what irked me so much about it was it almost felt like it was done for the show. You've railed on us for all these years for not taking a receiver in the first round, and the draft is here, and we want our fans to see that we can do it, and we took this one, who he is the definition of a Green Bay Packer receiver. Just a dude. But he's a good route runner, and he's fast. Awesome. You have a bunch of receivers of all positions for all years for you to have taken a receiver in the first round. This might be the one that made the least sense. But Golden's fine. It's fine. I would kill to hear how you got to Anthony Belton in the second round ahead of a slew of offensive tackles. Belton is as safe as it gets. He's good. He's not great. I don't think he has much high side whatsoever. I thought he was going to be a nice piece for a team that needed a starter right away. Savion Williams, or as I like to call him, the great Sam Squanch of the 2025 NFL Draft. Because you keep telling me how great he is, I do not see it.
Well, wait a minute.
But he's 6'5", and he can play running back, and he can play receiver. Yeah, but can he do any of them? Is he any good at any of it?
I thought you liked him.
I decently like him as a running back. I absolutely hate the tape on him as a wide receiver. He's just a move piece. He's like Deebo Samuel if Deebo Samuel got hit in the head with a hammer and somehow got 4 inches taller and a little bit slower. He's just a developmental guy. That was confusing to me at 3. So now we're through 3 rounds here. You keep telling me you're going to cut Jair Alexander. There's not a corner here yet. You don't have any. What do you think you'll play Savion at corner? And then you got into day 4, you took Baron Sorrell, which also felt like it was for the show because he was in the green room.
Mm-hmm.
Colin Oliver, which I thought was too high. Warren Brinson's fine. And then finally, mercifully, with a pick late in the 7th round, you finally took a corner whose name I didn't know. I had 500 guys on the board. I forgot I eval'd this guy. And then you got John Williams at the end. I thought it was a train wreck. And I know people are going to call me crazy. I feel like Green Bay hammed it up for their crowd. Because they knew. And you hear all these numbers. Well, there's 600,000 people at the draft. Yeah, 500,000 of them lived in Green Bay. Ask me how I know that. I was there every single day. Media room was 10% full.
Mm-hmm.
Went out there. You know what I saw a lot of? A whole mess of Green Bay Packer jerseys. It was almost shocking when I saw somebody not wearing a Packer jersey. And I feel like you hammed it up for your crowd. You took the receiver that you haven't taken in the first round since I don't even remember the last one you took in the first round.
Donald Driver?
No, he wasn't a first rounder. No. I think it was the kid from Florida State whose name always tends to. I cannot remember his first name. His last name's Walker.
Javon Walker.
Javon Walker. That's not right.
I think that's right.
Is it Javon? I don't remember.
I think it's Javon.
I pushed that out of my head because he came to the NFL and went, "Hey, I'm not good." And lasted for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was clunky. I thought it was a bad draft, and here you are.
Yep. Javon Walker, 20th overall in the 2002 NFL Draft.
So first receiver you take in the first round in 23 years. And I feel about the same way I did about him. You were looking for a number one in a class without one. How many times did you bypass the number one receiver? I could be a conspiracy theorist. I could be going full Alex Jones. You wanted to do it out in front of your crowd. I thought it was a grumper.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're after that crowd pleaser. I don't know why. I don't know why you would go that route to the detriment of your team.
Yeah, when you worry about pleasing fans, you'll be really happy because soon you will be sitting with them.
I mean, they had a couple of good TV moments at the draft. I just don't think it's going to pan out for you when you want it to actually matter on the field for your team.
Yeah, that and $1 will get you a Coke. This was terrible. And the sad thing is, there were 3 classes in the NFC that were worse.
That feels like it's hard to do. But Jeremy will tell us who those are coming up in just a few moments. Bears Smokehouse Barbecue, one of our fine sponsors of the Ingles Living the Dream Tour. They are the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. And if you had a number one draft pick for an appetizer menu, I would have to say the Bear Balls, that has to be near the top of the list. It's in consideration for the best appetizer ever concocted. They take cornbread and mac and cheese and pulled pork, and they make a ball out of it, and then deep fry that, and then put cheese sauce and bacon on the top of it. Those are all things that I like. It's like the perfect draft class. It all comes together, and in the end, you get an A+ out of the deal. They got 2 locations in Asheville, so, no matter where you are in town, you're going to have a spot that is conveniently located for you to be able to go get you some Bear Balls. Maybe you're not into that whole thing, and maybe you're not into delicious foods, or at least in that respect, and you want to go for the Moink Balls, the bacon-wrapped covered meatballs. And then they have beverages, they have great sides, they have all the meats that you could ask for. I mean, they've got brisket and pulled pork, and all of it is fantastic, and you are not going to regret making the choice to go to Bears Barbecue for lunch, dinner, over the weekend. If you're just hanging out, wanting to hang out, have a few beers, listen to some live music, you can do that every Thursday night at 135 Cox Avenue. This weekend, they will have live music all weekend long, and also this weekend, the first Sunday of the month, which means it is going to be time for another blues jam evening. Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue and Blues coming up this weekend, 5 to 8 on Sunday. 135 Cox Avenue, also in Sweeten Creek Brewing on Sweeten Creek Road in South Asheville. Bears Barbecue, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy, and you can find them at bearsbbq.com. NFL draft grades from the 2025 NFL Draft continue right after the break here on ESPN Asheville.
ESPN Asheville.
All right, clear.
Weather forecast. Most of us, no rain this afternoon. Some pop-up showers, thunderstorms. So if you are moving around,
my computer shut down.
I saw it
about 15 minutes ago.
Enjoying the beautiful weather. Not much of a chance of rain. 80 degrees with sun and clouds. Tonight, some clouds, 55. Tomorrow, a little better chance of some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, 82. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajik from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Macy's Backstage. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about fun Mother's Day gifts, all for under $15? Get low prices every day on unique finds before they're gone. In-store only at Macy's Backstage today. Find a location near you at macy'sbackstage.com. Off price, on trend, arriving daily.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-226-5454. That's 800-226-5454.
The new iHeart app just looks better.
The best feature of a car radio on the app.
It's the presets.
Super easy.
And thank you for keeping it free.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
What do we got? 3 left?
Buy or sell in Western North Carolina?
Yeah, man.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
At Ingles, we know that fresh means local. The best ingredients don't come from a world away. They come from your own backyard, which is why we rise to the challenge of providing the freshest items you'll find anywhere. Getting our foods from the farms we support.
And it's 1D, a Gary Busey, and a Alex Jones?
Every step of the way.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Henderson.
It's a D, a Gary Busey, and an Alex Jones?
Short, and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene.
Oh, okay.
Founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We are back at the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, coming to you from the Ingles studio, and it is also the NFLDraft.net Mullet Manor. NFLDraft.net. You're going to have all of that updated, ready for 2026 by Monday, right? That's why we're taking time off at the end of the week, correct?
False.
But we will have a mock draft Monday coming up on Monday, so we'll look forward to.
I can't wait for that to be just toilet paper for the draft of 2026.
But I think I think it'll be fun because we have that
doing mocks this early.
I know, but I think they're so much fun to go back and look at. Okay, so after last year, we had these 5 guys that were in the top 15, and it's 6 weeks into the season, and they may not get drafted. It doesn't get quite that bad, but I like having that benchmark to go back and look and go, see how stupid we were before all of it played out over the last year.
Well, it's not stupid. It's, hey, see what happens when you don't wait for people to actually show you if they're any good or not? Just guessing in a closet, yeah, that's not easy to do.
We've got 3 more teams to do on today's NFC draft grades.
God, I just realized we're doing this before the schedule comes out, too. So I don't even have the reference of, hey, this team plays a really tough schedule. Nope, I just have to guess.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
I'm so glad you talked me into this when I was sleep deprived.
All right, I'm looking forward to see who the next team is and who the Alex Jones team is.
Well, we have 3 teams left.
Okay.
The first one is a D. We then have a D minus. Then we have a Alex Jones. Your D is the San Francisco 4th and Niners.
Okay, I was not expecting you to grade this class this high after your initial comments about San Francisco's draft. So the saving grace was Mykel Williams?
No, the saving grace was you have a couple guys that I actually think are decent football players. I do think that C.J. West's a good football player. I do think Marcus Siegel, the safety from Kansas State, is a good football player. I think Connor Colby fits really nicely in the scheme. That's the end of the nice things we're going to say about the San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
You needed a pass rusher. You took a run defender with Mykel Williams. I get it. He's got the perfect height, and he's got all the measurables, but he's not any good at it. Kirby Smart couldn't make this guy a really good pass rusher, but you think you're going to. Okay, sure. I won't hammer you on that. You know what? He's bust just looking for a place to land. But okay, maybe you can get the most out of him. Alfred Collins at 43 overall?
Mm-hmm.
That's insanity. Pure, unabashed insanity. I struggle to put Alfred Collins in my top 100 because I just don't think he's much. I mean, it's a guy that got passed by two guys 2 years younger than him on the depth chart. It took him – he's 24 years old. It took him – or will be by week 1. It took him that long to get to the top of the depth chart. And even then, there's no production there. He's just a guy. And you take him to the top of the second round over guys like Darius Alexander, who, yes, is older, but I think is much better. I fully believe the Bills traded in front of San Francisco for T.J. Sanders, and they panicked and took the next D-tackle on their board.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get into the real kooky Madookie. Nick Martin in the third round, I'd have bet my house that kid was on the board in the third round. Or in the third day. I thought there was a possibility he was going to be a high-end priority undrafted free agent for a team, and San Francisco took him in the third round. But they really understand linebackers. I get that. I don't think there was anybody calling that name before the end of the fifth round under any circumstances. Upton Stout. I love the kid as a slot defender in not this system. I do not understand why you felt the urge to take him in day one. Or that's day 2. Jordan Watkins. I had talked to a slew of people that thought he was going to go undrafted completely. I liked him to a point. Jordan James, you needed a running back. Had an undrafted grade on him. Curtis Rourke, undrafted grade on him. Junior Bergen, undrafted grade on him. It was time after time after time after time. You just kept doing this. You made a lot of selections. I'm not sure you got any better. You got a lot deeper because you took a lot of special teamers and depth pieces. The top end of this roster is still not very good. This in Green Bay were the two that I just went, I got nothing. You made a lot of picks, and you didn't really add anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's a D. But there's still 2 worse.
All right, the D minus.
The Minnesota Vikings. I gave you just the smallest bit of leeway because you only had 5 picks.
Mm-hmm.
You overdrafted literally every player you took except one. And that was in the 6th round. Donovan Jackson in the 1st round is laughable to me. I don't understand how any intelligent evaluator got there. His best tape was at tackle, which he cannot play in the NFL. He was a good, not great guard after being a true high-end super 5-star that never looked like it. And now you think you're going to slot him in at guard and, we're just hunky-dunky. I don't agree with you. The one saving grace might be that you have so much talent on that line that it'll bail you out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to give you.
They just think of it in this sense. They have a new Garrett Bradbury. You always hated Garrett Bradbury.
I didn't hate him. I never understood how you drafted him in the 1st round.
They have talent around him, so maybe that'll make him better.
I just want you to hear what I'm going to say here. Donovan Jackson was 24th pick in the 1st round of the NFL draft. Here's the players that went directly after him. Jackson Dart, James Pierce Jr., Malachi Starks, Tyleek Williams, Josh Connerly, Maxwell Harrison, Jahad Campbell, Josh Simmons. Is there one player on that list that you would not have taken ahead of Donovan Jackson?
No.
No. And I wouldn't even think about it. Comical that a team actually did that. And then I'll be damned if you didn't do it again.
Yeah, I never understood it. I never understood it throughout the process. Anytime there was somebody that had Donovan Jackson in their first-round mock, I don't know what they were seeing. But maybe they saw the same thing that O'Connell saw.
Then you took Ty Felton as the 13th wide receiver taken in this class. I'm going to do the same thing with Ty Felton. I'm just going to do it with receivers exclusively. You stop me when I hit a name that you would have taken Ty Felton ahead of. Chamiri DK, Dante Thornton Jr., Arian Smith, Jalen Lane, Jalen Royals, Alec Ayumaner, Jordan Watkins, Keandre Lambert-Smith, Torrey Horton, LaJohntay Wester. I walked you right to it. It's the last one.
This is the last one?
That's where I had Ty Felton. LaJohntay Wester went at the end of the 6th round. You took Ty Felton in the very back end of the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
I had every single receiver except Jordan Watkins ahead of Ty Felton. It's terrible value. Terrible. Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins, you took him a little high, but not enough for me to jump up and down because I think he will be a good football player in the NFL. I liked the value on Kobe King, and Gavin Bartholomew's just a dude. This is the most nondescript draft class potentially in NFL history. You only had 5 picks, which definitely hurt, but you didn't optimize those in any discernible way.
And then the Alex Jones.
It's the Chicago Bears. I can't wrap my brain around how you got here. I'm not going to say it's the worst draft class I've ever seen.
No.
I'll go one step further. I don't even think it's worse than Minnesota.
Mm-mm.
Here's my problem. I've never seen a team do less with more. Colston Loveland, look, I like Loveland. I do not get how you had him ahead of Tyler Warren. But I even gave you a blip there. Luther Burden is comical. Hey, we need a slot receiver. Secret time? You still do. Oh, and by the way, he's a complete head case that you just put in a room with Caleb Williams. Good luck with that. Ozzie Trapillo. I never in a million years thought he was going to the 2nd round. I thought he and Belton would be tied at the hip. And I was right. They went 2 picks apart. A round too early. Shamar Turner. He's good against the run. Kind of. He's got the body frame. Hey, all the things. He's got everything you could ever want as a defensive tackle, except actual production and potentially talent. I want to play a fun game with you. If you just take the player that went directly after the Chicago Bears pick in every round, you go Mykel Williams, Tyler Shuck, Tate Ratledge, Omar Norman Lott. Which do you like better? The Bears haul or what came directly after them?
Yeah, it's the second option.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I actually tried to choose and I used even just the 5 picks directly after them, it's not even close. You had 4 picks in the top 60 and only got 1 top 60 player. That's hard to do. This is a horrifically bad draft class with all the capital that you had. And in the final round or the final day, Ruben Hippolyte, okay, he's a hyper-athletic linebacker that a lot of teams talk to. I thought he was going to be an undrafted free agent. Zoff Frazier, somebody asked me earlier, could he end up being a safety? He could. He's not really good enough of a tackler to do that. I think he's going to end up being a developmental outside zone corner. Luke Newman didn't have a draftable grade on. Kyle Monagai, okay, you got – I guess you were looking for your David Montgomery, and you did find a big, oversized running back. The difference is David Montgomery was a hyper athlete, and Kyle Monagai ain't a hyper athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. That's the first Alex Jones I've ever given. Maybe the only one I ever give. It was pure insanity.
Mm-hmm. The Detroit Lions, or excuse me, the Chicago Bears had all of our high hopes with Ben Johnson in town. We thought this is going to be a lot of really smart picks. It just didn't end up that way. So is this, the question for me now becomes, was this Ben's inexperience as a guy helping to make the decisions, or is this the Bears front office just being the Bears front office?
This is having two decision makers. This is having Kevin Warren,
and
having Ryan Poles, and having a loud voice in Ben Johnson, and none of them can agree. Because I can't fathom that three guys that smart agreed on this. I can't. It almost felt to me like they argued on every pick, and then they came to I can agree on this one. And they just took the guy that didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Did you just call Kevin Warren smart?
Kevin Warren's a very smart guy, not in football things. He's a very smart business guy.
All right. I was going to say, I think that might be the first time you've ever said Kevin Warren.
Oh, no, as a football guy? Whoa. Not even kinda.
Right.
I think Ben Johnson's a brilliant football guy. And I really don't feel like his voice was thoroughly heard here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a bad class. Bad.
Well, there you have it. NFC draft grades. All individual team grades will be coming out on the YouTube over the next few days, Jeremy?
It will. Yeah, I'm going to start recording those today. They'll start filtering out on Thursday. They'll run, and I'm actually going to run them for the next week. That way they don't kind of trip on each other. Everybody gets their day. They'll slowly leak out over the next few days. We'll have a lot of fantasy football content coming up. And, there is something I know we're up against time, but there is something I want to say before we get done with this.
Okay.
Every kid has that job they wanted when they were 8 years old, whether it was space cowboy, police officer, whatever it was. Mine was Mel Kiper. That's all I ever wanted to be. And I have to thank Tank specifically, and I do this every year. I thank Tank for giving me the opportunity to be that. I thank our wonderful sponsors, Ingles Markets, Parks Ford of Hendersonville, Clarissa Sells, WNC.com, Bear Smokehouse Barbecue, for believing in the two of us. And when we tell them crazy things that we want to do, they just go, cool, here's the money to do that. Because without that, we couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And all of those, I always said when we got into this, I wanted to have sponsors that didn't just pay us to hawk their products. They paid us because they believed in us and we believed in them. And that's 100% what we have. Mm-hmm. Ingles Markets is where I buy my groceries. The truck I drive every day is from Parks Ford. Clarissa Sells WNC is actively selling my house right now. And Bear Smokehouse Barbecue is my go-to for barbecue at least every other week, if not once a week.
Yep.
But then I have to get into the people that listen. We did and at last check, and it's getting bigger every single day, we did over 700,000 minutes of viewed time from Green Bay, Wisconsin, in a house on day 3 that had maybe the worst internet connection in the history of the world. It buffered like crazy. We were on Radio Row in much wider confines, but without a great camera angle for the first day. And you guys were great. All the nice things that you said. Every team in the NFL was represented at some point. And just from the little fat kid that never thought he was going to be involved in the NFL, that now it's almost become old hat that I'm directing everybody else where to go. From the bottom of my my very cold 3 sizes too small heart, thank you for everything that you do for this show. and supporting us.
We definitely appreciate everybody who sponsors the show, everybody who listens to the show, everybody who participates in the chat, and most of all, we appreciate Flostradamus Jeremy Green for keeping us entertained throughout the draft process. He's actually kind of turned me into a minor draft guy, and he just gets better and better every year. Can't wait to see what 2026 brings about for the Sportsocracy, not only for the Sportsocracy, but also for Jeremy Green personally, as his opinions just seem to keep spreading across the country. Weird how that happens. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We will be back with you live on Monday for a mock draft Monday. Enjoy the rest of the week. We're going to have our good friend Q Myers filling in for us throughout the rest of the week. We'll see you on Monday.
ESPN Asheville.
Clear.
Thanks,
Your
sir.
mountain weather forecast.
Most of us
Another
no rain
draft
this
in the
afternoon.
books.
Some pop-up showers, thunders.
Indeed.
And now the
Y'all
draft
moving around, you
nerd
got a better
hibernates.
chance of hitting something that pops up. Stay stationary, stay
I'm
home in
meeting
the backyard. enjoy the
Womack for
beautiful
lunch
weather.
on Thursday.
Not much of a chance of rain.
We're still
Okay.
hammering out where.
Clouds tonight, some clouds 55.
I'll be over there
A
tomorrow.
little better
We need
chance
to cut
slightly
that
scattered showers,
spot
thunderstorms,
for
82. I'm meteorologist Ray
Wheels for
Stagel
Meals.
from the Weather Channel.
This
We need to get
report
that
is
podcast out
sponsored
for
by
Kent.
Appalachian Site Work.
Need
We
quality
got a
concrete?
handful of
Choose
things to just
Appalachian
knock out by
Siteworks
lunch.
Ready Mix Division.
And, then
Reliable,
hopefully
high
go
quality
home and
concrete for all
some
of your
CDs.
projects. Serving Buncombe, Haywood, and Jackson counties. Visit AppSite
I'll see you then.
for more
I
info.
did.
AppSiteinc.com.
I'll see you in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Bucks. Once you win $1,000 in bonus bucks, you'll have more money to use on your fantasy leagues. Bonus bucks. The winning happens every weekday, right here
on ESPN Asheville.
Explore a career as a correctional officer. NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring with a $10,000 sign-on bonus. Becoming a correctional officer can be a rewarding first step along a criminal justice career. Visit dac.nc.gov/co-jobs.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Clean the spring pollen and allergens out of your home the easy way with the Zero Res Air Duct experts. Mention ESPN Asheville and get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Just use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small, loud or quiet.